Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode, ladies and gentlemen, of the A-Listers. Episode 51, Habibis. Big up to every single one of you guys. Big up to the Football Terrace for the redirect as well. Shout out to you, Terry. Love to every single one of you guys. I love to everyone who has supported the stream, supported the channel. This is the 51st episode of the A-Listers. We have kept it going for a second season running. This, inshallah, is going to be our second. What our second? Not our second. This is going to be our time slot now going forward. You get me? This time slot, 8 p.m. UK time every Monday, inshallah. That's going to be our time slot going forward. And if it does move back, then it might be 7. Not later, not earlier. Either 7 or 8. Most likely it's going to be 8. Big up to all of you guys. Please do make sure you guys are slapping the like button. Do make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you're yet to do so. Keep getting involved. Keep letting me know your opinions. There is a lot for us to discuss. We're going to be talking about the Chelsea clown show, Habibis. We're going to be talking about Ten Hag. And we're going to be talking about Mo Salah, GOAT status in the English Premier League. So, big up to all of you guys. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And introducing first and foremost, the biggest troublemaker in the fan base of Arsenal, Habibis. You get me? Out here wreaking havoc. Man like Egal in the building. How are you doing, Egal, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a good
You're
day. I'm not on mute anymore. You can hear me, right?
Yeah. Now
it's been a good day. I've seen you upgraded the thumbnail. I'm happy to see you're wearing a bow tie just like us now. And it's all matching. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun show. Get to talk about Todd Boehly and the Chelsea Civil War. Well, nothing better, right?
Yes, I'm with you. We need Chelsea's downfall to be beautiful, wallahi.
Downfall. They've already been falling. It's just hopefully this sustains it.
Yeah, but I think they will fall even worse than this now. It's gonna be beautiful.
Love it.
Beauty. Speaking of, you get me? No way this guy's name is Team Carefree Lewis. There you are. He's here to answer for Todd B and Eghbali's crimes. You get me? He's so lucky that Hamza is no longer part of A-Listers, because he would have had a 42-minute monologue ready for his blue brother. You get me? Man like Lewis is in the building. How you doing, Lewis, man?
It is a shame Hamza isn't here. That could have been my smoke break. But yeah, it is good to be back. It is good to be back. Big up to everybody. Team Carefree for the win. I will save this football club. And yeah, shout out to everybody that's locked in. It's been a pretty chill international break, even with this drama, because drama, not really drama, a little bit of waffle attached, whatever. It's just good to be back in it. Big up to everybody.
Big up to you, Lewis. Big up to you. It's never a dull day though with you supporting Chelsea. There's always something to talk about.
I was actually looking forward to a dull international break, and then this crap drops when I'm on my way to a birthday party. Brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
For once, you can't see fake news and fear mongering. That's your scapegoat. Every time your scapegoat is fear mongering.
A little bit.
Now it's no longer fear mongering. It's
a little bit, but we'll get
a little bit, bro. You will forever find a way.
We'll get into it. We'll get into
it. Yes, we'll get into it. Let me introduce the last
doctor.
two.
That's what you are,
guys. Double trouble today for this football club. Their manager sucks. You get me? We've got one OG member and one new member. And I thought today, specifically because we have a Ten Hag debate to get to, you get me? I want to get both of them on at the same time, because it's always interesting to hear opinions, whether they are similar or different. You get me? So it's always good to hear different opinions or similar opinions or whatever it is, but two differing voices, you get me, to get to when it comes to Manchester United. So, first guy, he hasn't been here in 3 weeks, because he has been running away ever since Liverpool slapped him by 3. And the other guy, you get me, he's had to face smoke for the last week as well, so he can hold that regardless. Man like Grigsy and man like Shikh. How doing, Grigsy, man?
First of all, I didn't run. I just wasn't home, because I literally went on YouTube the day after, by the way, when I found some free time, and I addressed the game. So I didn't run. So whenever I found free time, I addressed it. So, and also, it's good to be back. I heard Shikh held it down as well. I'm sorry, Shikh, I left you by yourself to fraud her family. I understand, but
it's all good.
But yeah.
Why am I the fraud? What did I do? I'm an innocent man.
Did I play Arsenal or Chelsea in the meantime while I was gone? No, I didn't. I only played you, so you're the fraud in this scenario. I had to listen to you. He not
Well, I
supposed to
agree.
play
I'll be honest
Eghbali.
with you. One game I cannot wait for is Man United Chelsea. I cannot wait for that game. That's gonna be the best. Like for
Early
me and
November.
Egal, you need to
Don't worry.
understand something. For me and Egal, we win regardless. There is no loss to us.
No,
Like
there
if
is a
Man
loss.
United
If
win,
they
we have
draw.
fun. If Chelsea win, we have fun. It's just
If
gonna be
they
fun.
draw.
Draw is the worst. I hate when that stuff happens, man. Like even the North London derby, I'm like, please, can you not be a draw? Please don't be a draw. Just someone win or someone lose.
You know, if
Don't worry, we're linking up
you
for our
guys know
annual
if
draw in a
you
month.
guys know
Don't worry.
this weekend, if we beat Tottenham in the Northern Derby,
That's no longer
that
the
would
case,
mean we've
anyways.
played them
No longer
Nah,
the
beaten
Poch
them
is
in
gone.
their
We're back to
ground.
business.
Listen, that
There we
means
go.
we would have beaten
There you
Tottenham
are.
in their
There you are.
ground more times than they beat us in our ground. Our ground opened in 2006. Their ground opened in what? 2000?
No, the new Spurs.
You
Stadium
guys catch
opened
what I
like
said?
3 years ago.
Spurs ground.
The
When
new
did
Spurs
Spurs
ground
ground
opened
open?
3 years ago. Like
It
4 years ago.
opened in
something like that.
2018.
So
Something
since
like that.
2018,
No, 2019. 19.
since 2019, we played each other how many times? 5 times or something like that? If
Yeah.
we win tomorrow, that means we will have 3 wins in their ground. They haven't had 3 wins in our ground since 2006.
Yeah, it sounds like Tottenham.
Yeah, that's Tottenham right there.
They got 1 win at our ground since 1990. 1990.
Fucking crazy.
Tottenham.
Who was the manager? Tell the world, please.
Yes. Do you want your little Poch prop? There you are. He's the manager. There you go. I
Yes,
hope you're
and who
happy.
was
There
the
was also
manager
no
during
Eden
your loss?
Hazard. So
Who was
no
the
Hazard,
manager
no
during
Bar.
your loss? Who was the manager during your loss?
Oh, Don Conte. Big up Antonio.
There you are.
My guy.
There you are. Anyway, let me read these 2 super chats before we get the party started. Big up to UG Itadori, who says Hussam gives Erwin-like speeches. My comrade. I've never said my comrade in my whole life. I've never even.
What is
used
that badge? What the hell?
West Ham United with a Liverpool crest. I don't know why. Aaron didn't do anything wrong, and Tabang watches fake fighting whilst drinking a milkshake. I don't even know who Aaron is. I've never said the word comrades. I know who Tabang is, and he does watch wrestling while drinking a milkshake. But the rest of your super chat,
I
it makes
respect
no sense.
wrestling. Fucking fraud.
No, but no, Tabang can hold it. If you know about this channel, you know about Tabang. Tabang can hold it. But yeah, this makes no sense. Explain. Can you explain, UG, please? I'm trying to understand. Like, what exactly do you mean here? Just explain it, Habibi. Big up to you. Big up to Denzel, who says Stamford Bridge is falling down. Big up to you, my guy Denzel, man. Big
No,
up
you
to
could sing it another way also. Stamford Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. Stamford Bridge is falling down. Todd Boehly said fuck off.
Oh,
It's actually the West Ham chant, to be fair.
there you
That
are.
has got history.
What?
Sheikh and Griggs, why didn't
The
you
West
say
Ham
it?
chant
Why are you doing
against
this whole
us.
brotherhood crap?
Really? I just literally thought I made that up.
I just don't care.
Why didn't you both sing, huh, Man United fans? Are you doing this brotherhood shit now?
No, I
Mud
just don't care.
Brothers. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, Mud Brothers.
That's such an L, man. You guys
You
love
know, if he has the chance to stick it on you guys, he's gonna stick it on you guys.
Yeah, 100%. Should
Hell,
have
my energy was United was the same. I don't cuss them out until I'm above
You
them.
said you hate United more than Liverpool, you liar. You told me with your very own
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
hope
but
so.
then
I
I'd feel
stole
the
the
year of
Champions
your
League.
pot. Things
I won a
change.
Champions League off him. And I've won
Mhm.
Premier Leagues off him. I expect him to hate me more than you. What are you, other than the Benitez Jose
Nah,
stuff?
Thank you
there's
for
been-
reminding me about
there's
Moscow.
been
I
this,
just forgot about that.
there's been a brotherly like type love between
Yeah,
you
there
two
has been.
for the longest time.
See, I just rank it by who I
Something
hate
about
more.
you guys and hating on every other London team except for Arsenal is a massive detail that I've noticed from Man United fans. They love bigging up Tottenham, especially Staffy, and they love bigging up Chelsea, and they have this weird connection with Chelsea. Where
Yeah, but
they,
Tottenham is like their little side club. Like that's
yeah,
the
No,
Tottenham's
they
just
give me
like-
I don't
Brentford
think of Tottenham.
and Michael
These
Carrick. How would I
guys
not
went
love
to
Spurs?
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and won 3-0. Do you understand?
But
Like-
and then Tottenham came to their ground and won 6-1.
Yes.
And they didn't even
Okay,
ban
I'll
to
get
them.
about that.
Big up
Yeah,
Mourinho.
I hate Liverpool obviously most. I hate City more. I hate Arsenal more, and then
Arsenal.
Chelsea are like right below that. So it's like, why would I enjoy your misery more than I enjoy Lewis's? It's as simple
So
as
you're
that.
telling me if Chelsea got liquidated, you wouldn't celebrate?
No.
He would miss
There
them.
you are. There you are. Ahmed said he'll miss them.
God forbid.
Anyway, listen, big up to everyone locked in. You get me? Speaking of Chelsea, where that's going to be our starting topic, of course, because that's the latest in the news. Big up to all of you guys. There's already 400 people in here. Mods, keep pushing the likes. Let's get the likes up, Habibis. Every single one of you guys, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. All these guys' channels is in the description as well. We will be starting with the Clear Lake / Chelsea clown show. You get me? And since the rules are now different, Lewis get to start on this section. You get me? So talk to the people, Lewis. What are your thoughts on the Chelsea situation?
Right, so you know when I said there's like a little bit of scaremongering, it's only a little bit because nothing's really set in stone yet. All this is like both sides weighing up options because both sides are seeing if they can buy each other out, which I think is a little bit pointless. And I also don't think it's going to go anywhere because neither of them want to sell up in the first place. They just want to buy each other out. So when it comes down to it, I don't think anything's going to happen anyway. It's just this entire scenario is fucking stupid. So they're differing on opinions on the recruitment policy, which I mean, you guys have already played a part in. And if you guys wanted to meet in the middle, you kind of did that this window anyway, albeit we still fucked up the number 9 situation and everything. You guys got a bit of experience in your Netos, your Tosins, even Dewsbury Hall, you can count them as a little bit of experience. They're experienced players, and then you brought youth on the other side of it. So it would make more sense to meet in the middle. I think that's the best of both worlds. Do the whole youth project and sprinkle a bit of experience, like you've already done. So what's the moaning about? The second one was the team's underperformance. Don't know why you guys are all pointing fingers at yourselves for. Just look in the mirror. Our underperformance, number one, I'm going to say it again. You lot hired Poch. That's your own L. You need to hold that. And you didn't sack him when you should have done it. You sacked him at the end of the season. So again, your L. You have to hold that. And number two, this whole Project 2030 bullshit. And you're talking about the team's underperformance in 2024. What are we doing? Like, don't do this whole long-term project and then get pissy that we haven't won anything in 2 years. That don't make any sense. So that's another thing that I don't understand where the disparity is between both sides. The stadium. The hell made them think that would have been done by this point either? They bought the Stowe mansions right next to the bridge that we're not going to get any access to until 2026. And there was not going to be any building before that point. If there was even going to be building after that point, it was going to take another 4 years minimum. So I don't even know how that's contributing to it either. Even Roman couldn't get the building stuff for the new bridge sorted in time. He had to scrap the original plans. And then if you want to try and move Chelsea away from Chelsea, you have to go through the Chelsea pitch owners who own the names to the club. And they will refuse any move away from Stamford Bridge. So I don't understand how these are the reasons for the disparity. There's talks about like the differences in the way both of them want to handle club operations. Boehly wants more delegation. Clear Lake wants to take a hands-on approach. I think the Poch situation also caused a little bit of the rift too, because I think Boehly wanted to keep him. Clear Lake wanted to get rid of him. But ultimately, it comes down to this. I've always complained that there is too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to the entire consortium as a whole. So I don't mind if we lose one of them. The thing is, don't ask me which side I'm on because I'm not really on a side. You guys got into this business together and now you want to buy each other out of in 2 years. Stop wasting the time. Put that fucking money towards the club and help it continue to grow and develop, and then we won't be in this situation. How about that?
Lewis, can I ask you a genuine question just on the point you just made? There is a genuine question because I actually agree with a lot of what you're saying, but there is a genuine problem with what you're saying, and that's the fact that it's billionaires. And you know that the billionaires' ego is this big. So I doubt that both of them are going to let it go and sing Kumbaya together. That's the thing that's the only thing that if I was in your place, I'd be worried about. Because what you're saying is true. All this money and time and effort should be put back into the club, 100%. And I agree with your approach as well of not having a side. I agree with that as well. I'm just saying, like, the problem is because they're billionaires and they have the egos this big, no one becomes a billionaire by just being a regular guy. Like, obviously, they're very egotistical and shit like this. So I don't know how they're going to sort this out. And the funny part is when you're saying about buying each other out, Eghbali could buy Boehly out and Boehly could buy Eghbali out as well. So, like,
but neither of them want to sell. So it's like, so what are we doing? I'm just sitting here wasting time for no reason. And to this ramen noodles idiot who's saying I haven't mentioned Clearlake once, I've literally cussed out every single reason for the potential rift and blamed them for it. So what the fuck do you want from me? You dumb Clearlake fucker. Like, what the fuck do you lot want? I've called them all out for this shit. I'm saying this whole fucking rift is stupid in itself. Fucking stop crying and moaning and then just work together. Because in reality, what I think this situation is, one of them wants to buy out the other so they can put the blame on the other. And say, he's the reason why we haven't been successful. He's the reason why this hasn't been working. So we had to get rid of him. That's it. Man want to just divert blame to the other, and that's why they want to buy each other out. In reality, you both fucking failed. If you're trying to judge all of this in 2 years, and again, if that's the case, what was Project 2030 for? I said, not once you quenched the recruitment. I'm happy with the recruitment. Bar goalkeeper, bar left wing. I'm happy with the recruitment. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to talk about Clearlake, or do you want me to talk about the players? Pick a side, dickhead. Pick a side. I'll wait. Unless any of you guys want to say anything, because I've already said my entire piece on this.
I know Egal probably want to go first because I want to hear his opinion on it as well.
Okay. This right here can cause a lot of disruption for Chelsea's football on the pitch, based on how you guys do your recruitment. Not only with the power struggle over the ownership on fighting over recruitment, but major decisions that can go forward when you have a rift. So you want this sorted as quick as possible, be it whoever takes over at all. Also, that can also lead to neglect on the pitch in the sense of transfers, in the sense of major decisions that need to be made, because there's two people who have a power struggle, and the person who has majority ownership could freeze out the other person. Todd Boehly could be left with no decision, with no power making and no decision making from there, and that could cause some sort of rift, further disrupting the situation at this moment in time. I've seen a similar situation at my club with Usmanov and the Kroenkes. The Kroenkes did not want to put a single penny into the club while Usmanov was there, and they basically neglected the club to try to get him to sell his shares. So,
wasn't it the protest that made a change for you guys?
The protest,
or was it just one of them buying out the other?
It was actually them getting full ownership. Once Usmanov left, you've seen them stop neglecting the club and taking it a little bit more serious and actually focusing more on pushing the club.
Isn't Usmanov the guy that went and bought Everton, I swear?
Yes, and he fucked up Everton also, because then they got sanctions on Everton, and now they're in FFP ever since. So on one hand,
I just don't know which one. I don't know which one I want, but I also kind of agree with you where if you could get at least one of them, at the very least, all of the responsibilities just centered on one entity, be it Boehly, be it Clearlake. It's just when you look deeper into it, if Clearlake were to take over, I think it would just be them. And like maybe that Feliciano brother, and probably that's about it. Boehly needs a bunch of investors just to buy out Clearlake, and it kind of feels like you just go from one consortium to the next.
The thing is, I don't know if Boehly's the head of the whole thing, the guy who's masterminding.
Clearlake, majority shareholders, they've got like 61.5, and Boehly has the rest, but it's split between him, Hansburg, Wyss, and who's the other one?
But I wouldn't.
Someone else.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with. I wouldn't feel comfortable with Clearlake owning 100%, because they only care about their bottom dollar. I don't think they're going to have the ambition to push forward as much as Todd Boehly does. Maybe call me crazy, but did they not hire Todd Boehly? Did Todd Boehly not bring them in? And aren't they using him for his sporting expertise? Wasn't that the whole thing you guys were sold on originally when it was Clearlake and Todd Boehly? So now that there's going to be a rift and you're going to be losing one, is Eghbali the head of the whole situation? Does he have any say? Does he have any history in sports management? Does Clearlake Capital in general have any history?
Don't really. No.
So that right there should be a warning sign for you guys and should kind of be something scary, because they're telling you the person they brought in for the sporting expertise, the guy who's done stuff with the LA Dodgers, been part connected to the Sparks in the WNBA, which is not a business you should even be looking at as showing an example of something that you have any big business acumen. But the Dodgers thing is the main thing. But now that you've come here and he's used a baseball approach with your contracts, getting all these players on 8-year deals, finding all these loopholes, I do think Todd Boehly has a lot.
Kind of like FSG done the same stuff with the baseball stuff, like I'm sorry, I know they're billionaires and they're billionaires for a reason and they made a whole lot of money and stuff, but it's just like, for me, the American perspective will always be money first, for the most part. 99% of American ownership, and you could call me, listen, I'm being dead serious, we're just going based off of data that we know.
I'd just say ownership in general, unless it's Saudi
I
or like a
disagree with you
Roman who's just in
completely.
love with
I
it.
disagree.
disagree.
I think
Really?
Man City
Yes,
are
because
winning.
Arabs want to win. Florentino Perez definitely want to win. And
Yeah, the Saudis and the Arabs, I agree. That's a
and
fair
Florentino
point.
Perez, you got Roman Abramovich. There are
Perez
examples.
doesn't know Madrid though.
So I'd say maybe the Saudis
But
or
he's the
someone who
operator.
like has
Perez
just an
basically runs the
outright
club.
love for the club in general. I hear that.
Perez is like the
But I
Daniel
just don't want to
Levy of Madrid.
centralize it on just Americans in general. I feel like there's owners who are in it for the bottom dollar, owners who can have a bit of a personal attachment to it as well.
Yeah, but which American owner has shown like ambitious levels to win and dominate and do all this? I don't
I'll
think
be
we have any
real. I only
examples.
know like 3 American owners. Like I can't
The
really give you a
Kroenkes
list.
have been crap for the most part. FSG have been crap for the most part. The Glazers have definitely been crap for the most part. Like, I'm just saying, it's you know what it is. They kind of take this approach of like the problems with baseball and NBA and NFL. There's major differences in terms of like there's cap spaces, there's salary, blah blah blah. There's also trades, there's drafts. Like there's so much differences that just doesn't exist. Like, you know, the San Antonio Spurs as an example, NBA example. The San Antonio Spurs basically tanked on purpose so that they could get Victor Wembanyama. It's essentially like a team basically being crap on purpose, having no repercussions whatsoever, and going and getting the best youth talent in world football. You know, like that's essentially what happens in that.
Like when we kind of tanked the end of 22-23 so we could amortize for 7 years.
Yeah, it's stuff like, but that's like more on trader level and stuff. So for me, the baseball approach never works because FSG done the same thing, man. They wanted to do the whole baseball approach, money ball, and all that crap. It just doesn't lead towards success. Or at
But
least
when you guys built your team, it worked to a certain degree. You guys
Yes,
found
but it
some
doesn't have to stay
hidden
successful.
gems. You found some hidden gems. But that's it. That's similar to what Chelsea seem to be doing. But their execution is what I think is the problem. Chelsea
Okay. You know,
Actually-
just to stop you there, you know the problem?
By the way,
Let me tell you the problem. So I'll just say one sentence, Grigs. You know the problem? Essentially now what Chelsea have to do to be successful, if they want to follow Moneyball, is go sell Palmer for 200 million and then use that 200 million on 2 players, 100 mil, and then be successful. That's the only way to do it, essentially.
But they're not going to do
And he
that.
vomited thinking of that. That's terrible.
They're not
Yeah,
gonna
but
do
that's
that.
the baseball
No,
approach,
no,
though,
no.
Lewis. It's the reality.
And
Well,
that's what Liverpool's owners did in baseball, and they haven't won since. They literally had the best player in baseball, sold his ass a year
Mookie
after
Betts.
winning, and they never won again. Mookie Betts, if I'm not mistaken.
Technically, baseball is actually, if American sports is the closest to football, because someone mentioned there is academies. Technically, there's a minor league system where you could have young prospects and eventually have them break through and stuff like that. There is no salary cap in baseball either. You're allowed to spend as much as you want until like a certain threshold, and then you kind of have to pay a little bit of tax, which you could say football is a similar thing, FFP. So there is a lot of similarities. And there's baseball owners, like for example, I'm a Mets fan. My owner is the richest guy in baseball by at least 10 to 15 bill. He ended up breaking bank. He spent money, and flopped. And he has to pay people off now. So it's a little bit different. First of all, also Mookie Betts was never the best player in baseball anyway. But
No, he was the best player on the Boston Red Sox. They won the
Yeah,
thing.
okay.
And then,
yeah, obviously it's hard. It's a little difficult because you have to end up paying a lot of people, and baseball rosters are actually similar size to what's called to baseball, because I think it's 25
You
in
see what
baseball.
John W. Henry said in the interview, Greg? He was like, baseball players are expensive. I don't know if you saw that.
They
They
are.
are.
The highest baseball player makes way more money
he's
than
actually a
It's
Todd
like
Boehly
700
player.
million.
He's actually
yeah,
a Todd Boehly player.
for
shit.
the Dodgers.
The thing with people have to, okay, this is why I'm gonna come with the Chelsea. People keep blaming Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly got made a scapegoat by Clear Lake for this whole thing because
That's
first of all,
facts.
he's not the majority owner in Chelsea. He's
What
not the
did you
majority.
want, Lewis?
He's not the majority owner
What point
for
of
the
scapegoat?
Dodgers. He's not the majority owner for the Dodgers. He's not the majority owner for the Sparks, and he's not the majority owner for the Lakers. He's just a money guy. He pumps money into the club because he's the trading and stuff like that. yes, in the beginning of the ownership, yes, Todd Boehly took a little bit hands-on because Chelsea didn't have anyone else because of the whole Roman Abramovich situation. So he had to take on a hands-on approach in the beginning until they found the people. And the article says that he wants to hire more experts if he were in fully charged that can actually understand how to handle the football side of things, because at the end of the day, he's not a football man. He's an American sportsman. That's all he is. And he has been made the face because he was the first name attached with Clear Lake. He was like the poster for the project and all that kind of stuff. But the fact is, probably since I think probably the end of 2022, right? I think Enzo was really like the last transfer he was fully involved in because he fell in love with him after the World Cup final, all that kind of stuff.
I think even that one was Eghbali and Winstanley, I think.
Yeah, they were probably like they were probably like in cohorts with that one. But ever since then, it's more Eghbali. It seems like Eghbali is kind of similar to the guy at PSG, Nasser, who the one that runs into the locker rooms, the one that throws chairs after UCL eliminations, that kind of stuff. The micromanager, as they call him, he's a micromanager. Same thing with the Glazers. I think it's Joel, the one that's the micromanager, the one that needs to learn everything, and every single transfer comes down to him. Before obviously Ineos took over and that kind of stuff. And is Boehly 100% innocent? No, he has his own transgressions and stuff that he messed up. But Eghbali has gotten away with murder until now. Todd Boehly kind of said, and Mudryk, they said that it was Boehly's idea. It came out. It was all Eghbali's. It was all Clear Lakes. They're the ones that have majority. The owner, they should have fell with them. And at the end of the day, Todd Boehly's now like, he thinks that maybe if he can get him to sell up, if he brings the right people, obviously, because Chelsea is a cash cow at the end of the day. It's a Premier League club. Football's the biggest sport in the world. Compared to the Dodgers and the Sparks and all those kind of teams, even though the Dodgers are the premier team in baseball, the money that they can make is not even 1/10 of what the money that Chelsea can make because of how big football is across the world. And he wants that. He wants to see.
Can we say one thing, though? Off the back of these reports, Chelsea fans can no longer say, my club has a direction. We've changed. We have new ownership. We have new this. We have new that. You can clearly see when the rug is pulled from under, it's a whole mess. You got both sides fighting for who should be signing. One guy saying we have to go get Enzo. Next guy saying we have to go get a bunch of Brazilians. Next guy saying we got to sell the Brazilians. Honestly, Lewis, you now know that a lot of the stuff that you've been told and been peddled is PR to save face for your recruitment strategy, which has been scattergun at best.
Like what? That's confusing.
They're literally fighting over how they should, which approach they should be taking, not only from the commercial side but recruitment side. You said that in your own words. So
differing opinions on the recruitment policy, because I think Boehly wants to bring in a little bit more experience, but you look at the last window. I mean, that's kind of what happened, which is what confuses me.
Lewis.
And then the rest is all the underperformance, which isn't part of the direction. It's because we haven't been successful in 2 years, which look at yourselves for that first. And the stadium, which it's got nothing to do with the direction and would have taken a decade minimum anyway. I don't even get how that's even a problem.
I'm not even talking about the stadium. That right there is delusional from them.
No, but like that's part of the reasons for the rift. So it's got to be addressed. If you're talking about in terms of direction, I don't believe in terms of just squad. There's a lack of direction.
Excuse me? They're literally fighting over the recruitment. They're fighting over what type of...
They've literally spent 2 years building a team. I don't think there's a lack of direction within the team. The problem is these guys are pointing fingers at each other and trying to blame each other for not being successful now.
Lewis, once again, we're not talking about direction on the pitch. That's on Maresca and whoever's in charge at the time to deal with the issues on the pitch. I'm
sure you just mentioned direction on the pitch at the start.
Direction on the pitch is not just the manager; it's the sporting director.
I'm talking about behind the scenes, Lewis. I'm talking about the scattergun approach to your recruitment. I'm talking about the scattergun approach about how they're going to try to build this team. How they're going to manage this team.
Scattergun. It was only scattergun in the first window, and that's when we had no sporting directors. It was just Boehly, Tuchel, and that. Even after all the reports, you still are in denial. In denial about what?
That this whole situation has been scattergun and absolutely a mess from the beginning.
No, the first window was scattergun. The rest has been heavily youth-centric. It's not been scattergun at all.
Even this window, you tried to bring in more experience. You tried to bring in a Victor Osimhen. It didn't work.
Yeah, we failed to get a striker. I hear that. We failed. But we still brought in some experience and some youth, which is exactly what they wanted.
Why was that? Why was that, Lewis? Why was that? Was it not down to your own wage structure?
Yes, our wage structure, which I have no problem with.
And is that not a scattergun approach? You cannot try to put.
No, it's not a
experience-
scattergun approach.
you
If
cannot-
anything,
one
it's
second, let me-
anything
let me-
but
let
it's
me make my
anything
point.
but
Let
scattergun
me make my
because we
goddamn point.
centered on one person. So how can that
Bro,
be scattergun?
This is why you cannot say you're gonna go get a finished article striker and try
How
to
is
put
it
him on academy
scattergun
player
to
wages.
center on one person?
Bro, you can't be trying to sign
Academy
Victor
player
Osimhen
wages is
on
crazy,
the
by the
same
way. We're
wages
not
as you
offering
would
Osimhen
get,
academy player wages.
you can't try to get Victor Osimhen and then try to put him on.
Yeah, I get it. Which is why my
Euro
problem is we stuck with him. I would have rather us been a bit more scattergun and gone for someone else who suits us, like a Tony. That would have made more sense. But we centered on one striker, which I hear is a problem. But don't act like it weren't a scattergun approach. No, we centered on one.
What scattergun means is their initial approach. Lewis is right. Now you can say their approach is flawed. It's sometimes illogical, which is fair to say. I do think that their wage structure, the Olise and Osimhen, the way that they failed to get them, is a little bit. I think that's why Boehly kind of the way that he is now. He's like he's the type of guy that probably would have been able to land in Olise and Osimhen because his probably experts would have been like, those guys are talented enough where you can
You're
break
talking
the
about
wage structure a
semantics,
little
the
bit.
words that I used. But my point, you get it.
Well, words mean something though.
Okay, but you get my point. You get my point, Greg.
Let's explain your point again without anyone interrupting.
You can't be
Let him
telling
explain.
me. You can't be telling me you're going to be going for kids. You're going to be going for young players. Then you try to go and sign Victor Osimhen on what? 100K? How much K did you even offer him? I don't even know. But really and truly, it's clearly not nowhere near what he expected to be getting at this moment in time. So from my perspective, from the outside looking in, it looks like you guys are trying to build a team with a bunch of young players. You finally realize you need more experience, but yet you want to pay those experienced players the same money you pay the young players. It's not going to fly. You need to figure out which direction you're going to go in. If you're going to bring in more
on the player.
If you're going to bring in more senior experience, if you're going to bring in more senior experience, some win now players to help you bridge the gap, you're going to have to figure out to pay them much more to bring them in. And I don't think
that's
they're
again
willing to do
dependent
that.
on the player. If we just went for Tony, who's on 30K a week, we would have been able to fit him within the wage structure. So again, it's dependent on the player.
Nah,
True.
I think you
think about it. He's on 30K a week. You can treble that.
You clearly had money to spend, and you offered certain players like 200K a week. If I'm not mistaken, did you not offer Olise that?
No, Olise wanted that from us, which is why the whole talks broke down. Same thing, the wage structure.
Terms was agreed with Olise before you guys agreed.
No, then Bayern gave him more money, and he came back to
150.
us wanting the same, and we said no, we're not doing it.
Lewis, let me say
once again,
one second,
you guys
Egal.
want
I'm
players,
agreeing.
you're not unwilling to
I'm
pay
gonna
the
agree
money.
with Egal here.
It's got to suit the wage structure. If we're in the Champions League, you
no,
give
no,
it all
Lewis,
to them
no,
as a
no.
base wage.
I know, but you can't get
Egal,
top
one
quality
second,
players with
Egal.
academy player
You
wages.
could have got what's his name, Ivan Toney.
I'm sorry. What do you think academy player wages are? Over 100K. Academy player wages are 25, 30K. That's academy player wages.
Bro, these guys are offering young
150K max is what we were going to offer.
Okay,
Bro,
but
no,
here's
no,
the
no.
thing. One second. Let me tell you why this point specifically I agree with Egal. I'll tell you why. When I go in for a Victor Osimhen, who is probably top 5, top 6 in his position in the world, I will be expecting to pay world-class wages. Now, whether Egal is a little bit exaggerating in terms of academy or blah, 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 doesn't matter because you're offering Osimhen half his wages. That is 100% correct from Egal. You cannot go, like, imagine Real Madrid coming to Mo Salah, who earns 350 grand a week, and going like, here's 150K a week, come play. Like, that's just not gonna run. And
no,
Chelsea...
but I'm not disagreeing with that. My problem is him saying like, oh, you can't go and get good players unless you offer the crazy. Tony was there on 30K a week. He was there, so that's
How
false.
much is he getting now as Saudi?
400K a week now. If we had bidded for him before our Ali got involved, while they were still trying to get Osimhen, we get him on what, 90, 100K? Done. Don't even have to move anywhere.
No, the issue with the issue with the Osimhen deal is not really about Chelsea. It's not about the issue is the Chelsea fans kind of going at Osimhen like, why didn't you accept this deal? Osimhen had a plan for his
They're
career.
stupid for that.
Yeah, but Chelsea are also within their right as a football club to not go beyond and above their wage structure if they don't want to. That's an approach that they want to take. And if Osimhen didn't want to join them now with the wages, and because I think the initial plan was that they were going to half it, and then if they get Champions League football, they'll be able to increase it. Same way with Palmer, right? Palmer had his amazing season. His wages got doubled. It's kind of a performance.
It's not the same thing with Palmer, though.
No, I'm not saying
actually,
it's the same.
Palmer's still on under. I think it's on 120 now.
No, but it's not the same thing.
Bigger bonus for him when we get into the Champions League.
No, but it's for a different reason. Because when you buy Palmer from Man City, he was their academy player. Their player, he wasn't the player that he is today.
I'm not
Yeah, but
saying it's
Osimhen is
that.
the top 5 player in
I
his
know that.
position
I
in the
know.
world,
I'm
bro.
not saying. Okay, but Osimhen, you also got to factor this. He's very injury prone. The guy's not going to play more than 25 games a season. You have to factor that in. As a Chelsea club, you have to assess that when you're paying a certain amount of wages, because in the Premier League, where he's already shown that he's injury prone in Serie A, all these kind of leagues. What about in the Premier League, where it's a lot more physical and injuries might happen more? You have to play more competitions. They have to factor that in. At the end of the day, that's why those people are in the positions that they're in, and that's how it works in football.
Yeah,
So,
and when we bought Thiago Alcantara, we gave him high wages. It's not when you're buying a player that's good, you have to.
Okay,
pay
I'm
money.
sorry, but Thiago, where you bought him, was at a higher level than Victor Osimhen is. Thiago was coming off a treble.
And where you were in the table was
And
also
where
higher.
you had just won the Premier League.
Yeah, but then
There
that
was a
proves
different
Egal's point
levels.
even further.
Whoa,
What
Chelsea aren't going for
It proves his
top
point that
tier
when
players
you are
alone.
going in for that caliber of player, you have to be ready to pay that caliber of money.
And this is where my agreement was. We wasted our time. We shouldn't have stayed so long. We should have gone for someone who was more affordable, like Tony.
Well,
So I'm not even
Chelsea-
disputing that
By the way,
point. We should
also,
never have
Chelsea-
dragged it to deadline day.
Also, Chelsea went after Osimhen because they saw his situation with Napoli was completely torn. That he had no football club to play, so they thought they could get him on the cheap. That's how it is. That's how it's in business. You see an opportunity and you think you can take advantage of it. You're gonna try to swing. They ended up missing, but they had to take the swing anyway. And they thought because Osimhen is the Chelsea fan,
Yeah, maybe they were
Uncle
swinging
Drogba,
for 3
Uncle
months.
Mikel, and that kind of stuff.
They were
went for it.
swinging
Yeah,
for
that
3
was
months
our
and
L.
not
I think
You
that's why
dragged
they
that for
stayed
too
there.
long. Get to July. If he ain't gonna
Yeah, they
accept it,
dragged it
move
too long.
on. Done.
That's their mistake. But they had to. Same with Elise. They thought because it's Chelsea Football Club, it's a bigger step than Palace, they could get Elise. But guess what? They didn't think that other clubs are gonna come in that are bigger than them, like Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich had a little bit more money to offer, and of course they had the glamorous Champions League football to offer. And that's what ended up happening. Chelsea eventually, by the way, are going to have to cough up the wages. Eventually, same way Arsenal had to do with Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka, eventually William Saliba, all that kind of stuff. But right now, Chelsea are not also at the position where they can do that because they already have their own issues financially.
Exactly.
They're getting investigated by the Premier League also. So they can't be going Victor Osimhen, yo, here's 500K a week. There you go, bro. Light work. Easy.
They're
can't be
also
doing
not in
Once
the
we get in
Champions
the
League.
Champions League, then you're going to see us start offering those big wages because we offer it as a base wage with a clause that if we drop out the UCL, you take a pay cut. We can't do that
United.
now. It's
Look
got to
at
be the
my
base
club.
wage of the
Look
bond.
at my club, De Ligt. He had to take a wage cut to come to United. He wasn't going to get the same wages he got at Bayern. He ended up accepting. Lenny Yoro, contrary to what Spanish media are trying to do now because they lost another center back and they're trying to gas it up. He's not on that high wages either. Who else? Joshua Zirkzee, not on high wages either. We can't be the United of old going up to Jadon Sancho, yo, here's 350K a week. And at least then we were in Champions League. Last year when we got Mason Mount, we were in Champions League. We're in Europa League this year. We couldn't go out to every single player and be like, this is what you want this
Still
money.
giving
we should give it to
Casemiro
you.
ridiculous wages. So
Did we
you
sign
do
Casemiro this summer,
you do
though?
have issues in your squad.
Did we sign Casemiro this summer, though? We did not sign Casemiro this summer. We signed him 2 years ago.
I get
when
it.
we were better financially. We can't do
You
that
guys
right
are
now.
at least trying to lower your wage structure. It's just going to
Yeah.
take a bit more time with you.
Everyone
players
who's in the who's not in the Champions League, who has players that they sign when they are in the Champions League, they're gonna have issues and they're gonna have to lower their wages. I hear that, but my thing with Chelsea is they were not on a win now approach. They were never really on a win now approach. They're always looking to build for the future. So some of the things you're saying, Lewis, I don't understand. Also, why are they upset about the performances when their whole approach has been to build for the future? You're not going to be upset about current performances. But another thing is,
But that's why I think
Does
they're
it-
just trying to point the blame on each other and buy each other out. So
Yeah.
Clear Lake can blame Boehly if they buy him out, and Boehly can do the same thing if the reverse happens.
hey, regardless, whoever came up with this approach, it has been so far very, very messy, in my opinion. Spending 1.2 million and going backwards as a football club has never happened. So that right there just goes to show you, if you do get fruits from this labor and you get a bunch of players that perform well and a bunch of these young players turn into superstars in the future, then fair play. But right at this moment in time, what are you, 3 years into Todd Boehly and Clear
It's
Lake's
the third
era?
season now. The third
3 years
season.
in, you have not seen anywhere near that.
To be fair, I think David Ornstein spoke about this when he was asked, I think this during the summer. He's like, the initial plan for Clear Lake, Top Boy, all them guys was the first kind of like the first 2.5 summers. And then this would be the season that you really properly start judging them, because now the fund, they spent all the money that was given to them by the Roman shit like that 1.2 billion, all that kind of stuff. They spent it all. So now he said this is now the year where you have to properly start judging Chelsea and their accomplishments, what they achieve. So, for example, top 4, Conference League, if they win that kind of stuff, domestic cups, all that kind of stuff, we start probably judging them.
By the way, how many years has it been since Todd Boehly? Because apparently people are telling me it's not 3 years.
Yeah, it's 2 years. It's the 3rd season.
Yeah, it's the 3rd season. He joined in 2022. He bought the club in 2022.
And even then, like all of the stuff about underperformance, all that's just for them to look at, which is why I just think they're both trying to blame each other for this situation. I don't think anything's going to change anyway. Neither of them want to be bought out. So it's not going anywhere.
It could go 2 ways. You get full ownership. They invest more money in. They have a direct plan. There's no more disputes and everything works out perfectly. Or it could go another way. Todd Boehly ends up leaving or Clear Lake leave, and one of the and you continue to find yourself in the same limbo where you're not getting into Champions League, where the team hasn't moved, and then they stop investing the level of money they invested, and you now find a situation where your team is not improving because you have a bunch of players on 8-year deals.
But I hear that there's 2 different extremes. It's like going into a football game and saying you could win or you could lose. It's like whatever happens, happens.
See, to be fair to them, first of all, really predict. They look like they're improving, first of all. And I don't think they're never going to be as bad as they were when they were 12th place. That's not going to happen. They signed too many talented players, and their squad is still.
And that was always going to happen with that squad anyway. Be it Roman, be it Clear Lake, that team was going to fail.
In my opinion, lost Rudiger and Christensen, because your defense was your backbone.
Yeah,
so that's another reason why the whole team's going to fail that season.
We'll see how it goes. But in my opinion, I do think that there's a clear better side, and who I think Lewis should technically spot. I'm not going to tell him to do that. It's up to him, obviously. But I do think Boehly is the more logical choice based on the fact that he does have previous sporting success. Whether how involved he was in is to be questioned. But the owners that kind of like micromanagers, like the Nassers and the Eghbalis, it can create very toxic environments. And he has already kind of seemed like the guy that he probably. Because I think it was said that Boehly wanted to keep Poch because he kind of wanted to keep a little bit more stability within the football club, while Eghbali is the kind of guy that will want to flip over everything if the instant kind of, which is, I guess, very similar to Roman, but you also don't have the kind of squad that can lead to that much change at constant change because you don't have the stability. And that's why I said this on Terry's channel. I said, if this situation drags on for very long, I do agree with Egal in terms of the fact that it will start affecting it on the pitch because you don't have a squad of leaders right now. Even during Tuchel, right, during the Roman saga, all that kind of stuff, you still had first of all, you had a coach that was experienced in Thomas Tuchel. You now have a Maresca who's never been on this level. And also you had the players like Rudiger, Jorginho, even a Kovacic, Christensen, Thiago Silva as well. You had those leaders. Now, no offense, your captain right now is Enzo Fernandez. He had his own scandal in the summer. You have Reece James, who's never on the pitch. You have Ben Chilwell, who has been completely isolated from the squad anyway. Thiago Silva is no longer there. So if it gets dragged on, it could possibly cause ripple effects on the pitch. Obviously, that is a nightmare scenario for you, but it might not happen. You never know. These guys at the end of the day might just like kind of give each other kind of extra little money and be like, "Oh, here you go," and everything gets settled. You know, it's billionaires we're talking about here.
I hear it. Part of me just doesn't. I don't think it's going to reach that sort of extreme, just because like. Eventually, if the idea is to sell the club, it has to be at a more successful place for them to make any sort of profit. So I don't feel like it's going to be the case in terms of like Boehly or Eghbali. I hear the stuff like about potentially Boehly. I do think he seems more of a fan than the others for what it's worth. It's just number one, the whole consortium thing. You go from one consortium to the other. I've just forgotten what the second point was in general, but no, that was it. If we were to get Boehly, there's been rumors of another overhaul if that's the case. And I'm just thinking, you go from one rebuild to another in 2 years. This is just a fucking circus. Like, I can't be... You've picked your squad of players, make it work. Like, I don't need another rebuild that's going to take 2 to 3 years. That's just a waste of fucking time. 2 years and $1 billion is officially down the drain if that shit happens. But I could hear the Boehly stuff. I do think he cares more.
It's going to be longer because I don't think you make top 4 this season, and then it's going to be a merry-go-round. It's going to be all hell break loose. And this goes back to, once again, their manager ID. Forget Poch. The manager ID after that. Because everyone wanted like Hansi Flick and like managers were more like fucking proven and stuff. And you're going to get a championship manager, sign him on a 5-year contract. He has to work. If he doesn't work, then there will be problems. This is like basically, how can I put this? This is like you're getting.
This is the team you've picked. This is the manager you've picked. It has to work. Which
Yes.
is why I
By the
don't
way,
want to hear no rebuild, no
Specifically given
overhaul.
contract length as well. Like they went 5-year contract. He's like, yep, we're gonna stick with this guy regardless. So they can't sack him. They can't fall for the Stamford Bridge pressure. They can't do any of that shit. This is your
Yeah.
guy. You have to stick by him essentially.
And
Like
have
unless
they-
you're 17. Let me just do the super chat. Big up to Blaze who says Chelsea have said they treat each situation individually. If it was Salah or KDB, they would have offered the wages. They don't rate Osimhen on that level. But then Blaze, the reason why I agreed with Egal when he was talking about the Osimhen situation is the following. If you don't rate Osimhen on that level, why spend 3 months wasting your time and everyone else's time? 3 months. 3 months. From when the transfer window opened, the guy on the edge of
But
this.
they had no alternative.
The guy at the edge of the.
No, there was
Super Bowl.
alternatives. I just overall just disagree with the super chat. Big up to Blaze, but even if it was Salah or KDB with us out at the Champions League, we're not offering over a 150.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I'm
just
saying.
as simple as that.
fair enough.
The whole
And
thing with the
even-
Osimhen
my point
situation
is,
was we
even if
dragged
you
it.
are right, why chase him for 3 months then?
Silly. That's
You
my
lost
whole
it.
problem with the Osimhen saga. I got to deadline day thinking something was going to move because why else would we be here? And then it was just the same news I was told in July. Osimhen won't lower his wage demands. Chelsea won't offer what he wants. Why
think
did we
it's-
wait till deadline day for this
It's probably
shit?
because they thought they were in the position of power because, like I
Mhm.
mentioned, Osimhen at Napoli, bro, they basically told him, you better find a club because you're not playing for us this season. So Chelsea figured he has that threat under him. The Saudi deal collapsed because obviously they ended up going for Tony and his agent messed that up. So
But even then,
deal
it's
too.
like, I'd
Yeah,
understand
Lukaku
that
go
if
to
it's
Napoli
literally
without
Osimhen
securing
and
Osimhen.
nobody else.
No, because
Like,
you guys, it was
Tony
in
was
your
there.
hands. It was in your hands. You had their Osimhen replacement already at your club, but you still didn't somehow get.
No,
Osimhen.
if anything, it was more indirectly. We thought we had Napoli bent over because now they had Lukaku and Osimhen on their wage bill. But then it wasn't the whole Napoli negotiations that was the problem. Fees and that it was easy to sort. It was the wages because we had to fit it into our wage structure and we couldn't
How much
do it.
did you
So
actually
please
offer him?
move to Brentford, offer Tony triple his wages, and we're done.
How much
Lukaku's
did you
gone.
actually offer him? Let's be honest. Do you know?
I think it
there
was
was like 8 different offers, I think they ended up saying.
yeah, like
They-
there was 7 offers to him, and we were still very far off his wages once we got to the 7th one. So it was
Do you
just a
know
waste
what it
of
was?
time.
Do you know what it was?
There was rumors of 135 rumors, but that's the only one I really heard.
And isn't he on like double that already in Italy?
Like 240 or something, which explains why we were still so far off. So again, like, why drag it? Like, what's the point? You
Yeah.
got the here we go. Lukaku signed up to Napoli. Move on. Like, Lukaku's off the books now. Who gives a damn? If we can't get Osimhen, go get Tony.
Hey, all you need to worry about is if whoever takes over, they can't stop caring and not invest anymore. Because any whoever your owner is, if they don't see a return for long enough, eventually it's going to get to a situation where they might see it as, you know what, there's no need to invest as.
The problem is no one's been successful this way ever in football. Never happened.
This has never been done before.
Never, ever. And the way that they're operating, listen, even if the Chelsea fans are all not delusional and they have a really great team, you know what they needed this season to take them to that next level? They needed Osimhen. They needed a winger the level of Kvaratskhelia. They needed,
Another
like, you know, like,
defender.
even
Defender,
even if he's not
defender.
world class, at least top class level players. You know, they needed someone to take them from C plus to A minus. Yani, you know, not like City, Arsenal, Liverpool level, but at least easy, comfy top 4. Don't be in a fight with Spurs and Man United. That's what they needed, so they can build the confidence of this team up and all that shit. You go sign Tosin Adarbayo, Dewsbury Hall, Sancho and Felix. It just fucking makes
Neto.
no sense. It just makes no sense. No, Neto, I understand. But here's the thing, Lewis, you know this is true. Neto, I've always admitted his quality. The only problem is if he can stay fit. That's all. But I'm saying, like, the rest of the transfer window, like, if I told you this, like, in June, when you were really hyped, Osimhen, Olise, blah, blah, if I told you, listen, Sancho, Felix, Dewsbury Hall, Tosin, like, you'd go like, okay, that's a little bit, like, disappointing, you know? That's, like, the thing I'm saying.
Like,
gonna
I'm
be
happy
real.
with the attacking depth, and that's about it.
Definitely
The
needed
rest of
a
all
striker.
questions.
I'm gonna be real. I
Yeah,
don't think the
definitely need
issues.
a striker.
what they do this season will all depend on Maresca's coaching. And Maresca's a good coach. They should be able to finish top 4. They have a squad. They have so many attackers. They have enough midfielders. Defense is a little bit issue in goalkeeper. That's fine, but they have the quality to be able to finish in the 4th or 5th spot, depending on what happens across other English teams in Europe. Because 5th might be a Champions League spot too. So we'll see. If it's all if Maresca's a fraud, then yeah, they're clipped in that situation. Then that will be on the ownership for sacking Poch and going from Maresca and appointing him. But in terms of the squad, yes, it wasn't the best of windows. Yes, and Osimhen would have been life changing and stuff like that. But Pedro Neto's a good winger. Jadon Sancho, I'm not his biggest fan, but he's much better than Mudryk just for starters. And at worst, he's probably as an equal level of Raheem Sterling right now.
Grigs, why do you like this one?
Why am I like what?
Why since when is the bet? I'm not even gonna go like this whole proper Chelsea sort of stuff. But since when is the fucking standard Mudryk? So khalas, anyone better than Mudryk?
He's on their team though. He's on their team though, so I'm comparing.
I do like that. I don't have to care about Mudryk.
No, but Grigs,
I think it means like Mudryk goes down.
Do you want me to say that? Do you want me to say that he's?
Griggs, you are the director of football at Chelsea. You are the director of football at Chelsea, Michael Griggs. You now have the choice to take Chelsea to the next level. Who do you sign? Tell me. Do you go Sancho and Felix? Come on now.
I don't rate them personally. But
okay, thank you.
No. But I'm looking at them from a last season basis on the squad that they have, and then this season and who they improved on, and if that's enough to get them enough points to get into the top 4. And when I look at the other teams right now, when I look amongst that top 4 from last season, all I look at is Aston Villa as the main threat. Other than that, I look at Spurs the way that they started the season. Do I look at Spurs and be like, yo, this is crazy? No, I don't. I look at United right now, I just laugh. Anyway, who else is there? Newcastle. They didn't sign anyone either. It's all for them. It's how
Newcastle is better than Chelsea right now.
Newcastle is better than Chelsea, and they have 1 game a week.
Okay, but they also made no signings. So one injury again.
They look better. They're defending well. They're attacking well. They're winning games.
One game a week. 1 game a week for these guys.
I'm saying, okay, but that's fine. But injuries
happen. 1 game a week helped us.
Oh, bro, let's be real. For the first 6 months, Chelsea have 1 game a week because they're not going to care about Conference League. We saw their squad. They kept their 5 best players out the squad anyway. Yeah. So it's not like they're sending the Avengers over there. They're sending literally the League of the Young Justice and stuff like that. That's what they're sending.
It makes it fun.
So we'll see. So it's not like, let's say Newcastle have this amazing squad. Yes, they have great players, and their first 11 is probably better than Chelsea's. But we all know in football, you don't have your first 11 for most of the season unless you're very, very lucky.
You're judging what you're saying based off 3 games. Based on the 3 games we've watched, Newcastle have looked better than Chelsea. That's all I'm saying.
They didn't look that good against Bournemouth.
I haven't watched Newcastle 3 games, but was it really big?
Southampton, they were down at 10 men, and Southampton are absolute trash, and there's a reason why they're going to get relegated. Against Bournemouth, they didn't win the game. They didn't look as amazing. Against Spurs, it's clear that against Spurs, Newcastle are just a better team every single matchup because, like I said, styles make fights, and their style always trumps Spurs when they play.
Chelsea didn't look good against Palace or City, so where do we go from here?
Well, Chelsea looked.
I mean, 30 minutes against Palace, we looked bad. I wouldn't say we had a bad game.
Okay, but also I also say that, but Chelsea have enough weapons in the attack. Well, they're gonna get points in games they don't deserve to get points.
You want to know something?
I agree.
Because they were actually, I would probably say they were better.
Newcastle don't even look like they've been amazing from what I've seen.
By the way, Chelsea were better against Palace than they were against Wolves. That's
you want to know something?
They won the game against Wolves.
That's actually facts. Yeah,
they
that's
points
facts.
Against Palace. That's the life of football. XG giveth, XG taketh. That's how
but
it goes.
You want to know something?
Dean Henderson's the only difference
outside
in that
of Cole Palmer, Isaac is the next best player out of those 2 teams' attacks. And I back Isaac to bag a lot of goals this season. And I think Newcastle have a really good attack. I think they have a balanced midfield, especially with Tonali back. And I think Newcastle are not this meaty team that you guys think they are. They will be in the hunt for top 4 this season.
No, okay, I never said they're not going to be in the hunt. I also said that Chelsea are going to be in the hunt as well. And they have just as much of a chance as Newcastle to get it.
Griggs, the problem is with the logic is the following. You go sign Osimhen, you sign a top-class player, it's no longer a conversation. Chelsea get top 4 comfy. That's the difference. Because Osimhen will score 15.
Okay, but then that means we're in the race.
Nico Jackson has like 3 and 3.
Yeah, but you're in a race. You're in a race.
So does Mbeumo.
You're in a race, but you would have upgraded your car and been better than everyone else.
Why are you acting like
You're looking at Mbeumo.
You're a fraud because Griggs' point was debunked immediately. The benchmark
was
cannot
not.
be okay, Griggs. Without us shouting at each other, benchmark cannot be better than Mudrik.
I never said that's a benchmark.
One second, one second.
I
I'll
looked
just
at
say
their
one sentence
squad
and then I
from
promise I'll
last
mute my
year
mic.
and compared
Let me
to
just
this
say one
year.
sentence and then I'll mute my mic. I'll mute it. I'll let you speak for 30 minutes if you want. Me and you agreed what? We don't trade Felix or Sancho. I agree. And on top of that, they have Nkunku and Palmer, who's a lot more effective and better, of course, but who are the same style of player. So what is the point of that transfer? Khalas, you're better than Mudrik, so it's a good transfer. We cannot say that.
No. First of all, are those guys the benchmark for them? Chelsea being back to the Chelsea they were? No, that's never gonna happen. But I looked at it from a from a season to season basis. Based on last year, has their squad improved? And will that be able enough to make the jump from 6th place where they finished last year? I think it was like 4 points behind Spurs to now jumping into that 5th and 4th spot. Did they make enough changes? I look at their attack from last year. You have Raheem Sterling and you have Mudrik, right? Those were the 2 starting left wingers for Chelsea last season. In my opinion, both Joao Felix and Jadon Sancho, as much as I don't rate them, they're 100% better than Mikhailo Mudrik. That is a fact. Raheem Sterling, while he had his moments at Chelsea, effectively, he was pretty much a flop. Jadon Sancho,
similar numbers to Mudrik with 3 times the minutes.
Do I look at Jadon Sancho, who in my opinion actually does suit Maresca's system a little bit more than Raheem Sterling because he's more of a 1v1 type of winger as opposed to Sterling, who's more of a kind of a movement kind of winger. Yes, he does. Joao Felix, I don't rate the guy, but he's never going to play on the wing. He's probably going to play central anyway, but he's a bum. But regardless, I look at Jadon Sancho as more of the profile signing because they're going to sign him next year as well. He'll be there permanently. I look at Jadon Sancho as an improvement on both Raheem Sterling right now in the Chelsea system and also Mikhailo Mudrik. I look on the right-hand side. I look at Madueke, who's probably going to be him and Pedro Neto, who are probably going to be the right wingers, while Cole Palmer moves into the 10, which I really rate that move by Maresca. Personally, I think that's the right decision to make. Madueke and Neto are much 1v1 wingers as opposed to Cole Palmer, who's kind of more of your finesse player, link up. And yes, they got better. Cole Palmer will also be effectively playing the 10 long term now. They got better at that position. Nico Jackson will probably only get better as he ages because he's getting more experience at the sport of football. They got better. Midfield, Lavia is better than whatever the hell they had last season, other than Enzo and Caicedo. He's better than Gallagher in my opinion. He didn't play though.
They played one game.
Yeah.
So someone brought him on for 30 minutes against Palace to save his
Griggs,
job.
Okay, Griggs.
Defense. Wesley
I've heard
Fofana
what
will
you're
be.
about to say. I didn't interrupt you once. The only issue with your logic is you're using what Chelsea had to act like it's an improvement. I'm saying forget about Spurs, forget about Man United, Newcastle, forget who they're competing with. I'm saying as Chelsea Football Club, signing Osimhen, signing top-class elite-level players would have made them get top 4 comfy without having to deal with Spurs and Man United to begin with. Now they're in a race. They might get it, they might not get it, but they would have guaranteed Champions League football. You know what it is? They would have guaranteed Champions League football even if what Lewis said they did, which is sign Tony at least. They could have guaranteed Champions League football just by signing Tony because he'd have gotten 16 goals. I'm not even going to exaggerate. He'd have gotten 16 goals. And on top of that, signing.
I'm sorry.
16 goals. So wait, that would be 2 more than Nicholas Jackson last season.
And the thing is, as well, not signing 100 players of the same profile. Nkunku, Felix, Sancho, they might have different effectiveness or blah, 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 but they're the same exact fucking type of player. They're the same.
Sancho's a bit more different. He can play more on the wings, if anything.
Yes, but I'm
Sancho's
saying
going to be
Sancho
primarily
is
central.
midfield, all that type of shit. Like,
Sancho
they're
is
not really
You
like,
know, there's no
not a
evidence
winger,
that
winger,
Sancho's going to do well at Chelsea.
they're not Neto, basically.
I didn't say
No one's even said that, but like,
First of all,
I would be very
They're so
surprised.
good
if
enough for
flopped.
top 4 though. They're so good enough for top 4 though. These players, like if you look at, I think what they're thinking is
They're top heavy.
with a different manager, they can probably get a better output from someone like Jackson, and then they don't have to go out and sign that striker. But all these additions that they've had are good enough for them to compete for top 4. I think that's just the approach that they've taken. And if they don't want to break that wage structure, they don't want to break that wage structure. Why they went for 3 months, that doesn't honestly make sense. If you didn't want to break your wage structure, if you knew that he was going to cost as much as he's going to cost, they're probably thinking they could strike a deal or something like that. But yeah, if I still think their players are good enough, the signings that they've made are good enough to compete at least for top 4. But I agree with you, Hassan. A striker would have sealed it.
Yeah, if we had gone Osimhen, like, I'd be having a lazy eye looking a little bit higher than 4th because then I've got even more goals to worry about. Right now, it's Nicholas Jackson who I don't even
arguing.
Yeah.
No, but now there's going to be a big disparity between 3rd and 4th now. That's the difference. And like, especially the way you've lot started the season with Arnie Slot. That's it. In terms of now, like, I still believe we can get top 4. Might be a little bit more of a battle, but like, still very speculative right now. Depends on the defending. As it stands, Cole and Fofana look like they're finally starting to build a partnership. If that continues over the next month or two, then there's an even bigger reason why we could get top 4.
By the way, Chelsea could have signed. By the way, Chelsea could have signed Victor Osimhen, and they still wouldn't have been a lock for top 4. By the way, because let's not act like Aston Villa are some meaty ass team. They have a squad too. So
yeah, okay,
there's never a lock for top 4. That 4th spot has not been a lock in the Premier League for the last 5 to 6 years. There's always been a race for it.
4 is lava.
It's never a lock. Every single team, every time you say a team's a lock for top 4,
I think
they end up finishing like 6th place. Never a lock for top 4. There's never a lock.
You want to know the problem, Grigs? I don't agree with that logic even for my own club, because there will be like top Reds who come to you like, even if we signed Zubimendi, you wouldn't have guaranteed we won the league. Yeah, I agree. We don't have guaranteed, but at least I put myself in the best possible position. I mean, if Chelsea line up against Bournemouth with Osimhen up top, I mean, I'd assume Palmer alone is going to eat, 10, 12 assists a season just from Osimhen. Like, we have to be objective as well. But anyway, listen, we stayed too long on the Chelsea stuff. Let me just read this.
Yeah, Odegaard's apparently injured. Let's have North London derby talk.
We will. So what's the point of Chiesa, who's same to Diaz? You know, it's very funny, Blaze. You and the Chelsea fans, because I have you all by the balls, you always think that I'm shitting on your club, but praising mine. I said the Liverpool transfer window is 2 out of 10. I want my owners out. I want my sporting director out. I want the director of football out. Habibi, what more you want me to say? Wallahi, fuck Richard Hughes. Fuck Michael Edwards. Fuck Fenway Sports Group. And like, fuck everything we've done this summer. Why you think I agree with it? How many rants I've done about my football club where you were in the chat? So when you say, what's the point of Chiesa same to Diaz? I've literally said we've signed the position we need the least. So I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Odegaard out injured is what Yak says. Is this true or is this speculation?
Yeah, he's limped off for Norway. I just checked.
Saying it in the chat.
Yeah, he twisted his ankle. He's going to be fine.
Damn. Big up to Benz, who says, go watch John Obi podcast about the Osimhen deal. Did you watch it, Lewis?
No, but I did see some quotes. Apparently, everything was sorted, including the wages, but it was something about not being able to get the medical the medical stuff done in time. But I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling massive bullshit. If we could have broken his wage structure, we wouldn't have dragged it to literally the last hour of deadline day to do it. That is next level incompetence. So, nah, I think Mikel's just trying to hold on and get the move done in January, potentially, because he's been trying to push for it for the longest.
I liked what John Obi Mikel said, to be honest with you, because I think it does hold a whole lot of water, because you have to criticize Chelsea at this moment in time. But we
don't mind him being critical. No, I didn't have any issues with that. People were getting annoyed because his agenda was push for Osimhen to join, but okay. Don't care. Osimhen's a good player. Bring him.
Fairs. Anyway, big up to all of you guys. There's 700 people in here, guys. Let's get to 200 likes ASAP. Mods keep pushing as well. Big up Warrior. You get me doing his job. What a 3 points for South Korea. But make sure you guys are slapping the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you're ready to do so. Grigs Talks, Shikh TV, Egal Talks Football, Carefree Lewis G, and Jacob's channel all are in the description. Go subscribe, you bunch of frauds. And let's get to 200 likes ASAP. So, next on the agenda list today is Eriquinho Tenhaginho. You get me? So we'll be talking about him.
Please respect the country, Brazil. Please.
I want to talk about Eriquinho, and I want to talk about as well. There's a bit of Arsenal news that I actually forgot to put on the thumbnail because I am a fraud. So we'll be talking about that as well. But let's just get through. Actually, you know what? I've changed my mind. Let's start with Arsenal instead, because Egal been too comfy on this A-listers for the last.
Yeah, we got breaking news.
There's even more. It's not just the Odegaard injury, Lewis. Egal Talks Football. There is news of Saliba to Real Madrid. My brother. Real Madrid. Hala Madrid. Nada más. Don't even.
Why is anybody surprised?
Tell me your thoughts.
Why is anybody surprised?
He's
He's the best young centre back in the world. Of course, he's going to be linked to Real Madrid, but we have him under contract. Give us 150 million plus, or we're not having a conversation. Simple.
Wait, you would sell him?
No, simple. They have to put 150 million plus left with the amount of years he has remaining on his deal. There's no way they're gonna pay the money that we'd ask for Saliba to go anywhere. You put 80 million on the table. We're not taking that. 100 million on the table.
What if he hands in a transfer request?
He's not going to hand in a transfer request.
Say you don't go trophyless
Well,
again.
Madrid,
He's done. I've had enough.
Then that's a different conversation. But I doubt William Saliba will push the move.
Fair enough.
I think Real Madrid would have to do what they did with Kylian Mbappe, and they would have to friggin' wait until his contract runs out and the player doesn't agree a contract with us. Then he leaves. But let's be honest, William Saliba is probably one of the best center backs in the world that's not over the age of 25. So obviously Real Madrid is going to want to secure their future, and they're going to come for the best. We've always known that William Saliba is one of those guys. And when Real Madrid want to come for your player, all you have to do is try to make sure you have them tied down to a contract. We currently have them tied down to a contract. I honestly have nothing to worry about at this moment in time.
You know,
I don't even blame you. It is still early. But this is all the more reason why you have to do something this season.
Lewis, why do you gaslight Egal?
What do you mean?
You know who's calling for Saliba? Do you know who?
Yeah,
Real Madrid,
man. That's what I'm saying.
Real Madrid, Lewis, I want you to look at Egal straight in the face right now and say you promise him that Saliba will stay. Since you're saying, oh, it's too early and doing all that shit. There you are. Look in the camera.
Well, wait, you want me to promise?
Because you are a fraud. You're gaslighting. You're gaslighting. How? Because you know for a fact
he's not handed in a transfer request on. Yeah, like if they do it, big if. I'm only saying it's early because it is literally October and like you just see one article doing the rounds and everything. Like it could develop further. And please let it develop further. You think I'm going to make any complaints or ifs or buts about it?
I'm worried about Trent, and he's cows born and bred because Madrid called.
Yeah, but
like so if Madrid want to call Palmer, you wouldn't be shitting yourself. Don't lie.
Yo, I've got him on treble what Saliba's on, so I ain't got to worry.
First of all, they have Palmer in a life
9-year deal.
He locked up. Second of all,
where you going?
Trent's contract's expiring. That's why you're worried. If he was tied down for the next 3 years. You wouldn't have anything to worry
There's
about.
also Real Madrid. That's why you're worried. You're really worried.
Yeah,
Real
it's Madrid. That's it.
That's why.
If it was Bayern, I wouldn't be worried.
Egal, let's be honest.
Go ahead.
Let's be honest, Egal. Saliba, if as much as he loves Arsenal, he could be here right now. But let's say if Arsenal don't win in the next upcoming years, and if Real Madrid comes calling, where he can get into the team and he could win, La Liga titles, playing alongside some of his more French teammates, and be more successful there, why wouldn't he want to go? It's Real Madrid, it's that, and it's also the fact that you start having a successful.
The players under contract.
Them international breaks are going to be rough. Chouameni, Camavinga, Mbappe, all the gegenpressing him.
Guys, the players under contract.
You look good in white,
Saliba, bro. I think you guys are forgetting with the player being under contract. Arsenal have to agree to any sale. And why would we agree to any sale if it doesn't feel
the game in it?
If you don't deem it worth it, we wouldn't do it.
I don't think he would force a transfer.
1 second.
Like not show up to training.
If we're serious and we're trying to win now, we need to. We're not going to go sell Saliba. By the way, they wanted Saliba this window. They knew they couldn't even get close to a transfer fee if they wanted to. It would never happen. Also,
but you know when they can get close? Next summer. This summer.
Next summer, we still have him under 2 years.
For Mbappe this summer, they don't have to pay anything.
Next summer, we still have him under 2-year contract.
Okay, 2-year contract. You don't win if you don't win the league or the Champions League this season. Madrid come calling. You think Saliba will leave?
They have to pay us a Premier League record transfer for every single any player that's ever played in the Premier League.
Ooh,
it is to be fair.
Now. Sorry, I just watched the Odegaard injury.
The deal is until he has a contract until 2027. Don't forget that. So wallahi, we have all the strength in negotiation. William Saliba hands in a transfer request. Fair. If you want to leave, give us what we're asking for. If you don't want to give us that, I'm sorry, you're not leaving.
It will be interesting to see if this is a change from the Arsenal of old, and if they decide they're not going to get bullied on this. It will be very interesting. Because you do have the leverage.
If there's one player in this squad who is going to garner the most amount of money in the Premier League's history from Arsenal, it's Saliba.
Oh, yeah, have to be. Your record's like, what, 30 mil?
No. I'm not talking about Arsenal. I'm talking about every fucking club.
Oh, biggest outgoing away from England. Okay. Which one was that?
There you are.
No club is ever paying.
Coutinho.
No one's ever paying
the most expensive.
Coutinho was 140.
Saliba's 23 years old. He could play until he's 35. If you pay 150 million for Saliba, you're well getting your money's worth.
No center back is ever worth 150 mil. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I agree with
William Saliba.
I'm sorry. Unless you're an attacker, you are not worth 150 mil.
Like, you are getting that 80 million, bro.
Saliba right now, what he's doing at the age of 23 is unbelievable. He's
That's
most
great.
Oh, you ain't gonna get 150 though, Egal.
Bro. So what? If they're not giving us the money we want,
without a trophy, they're just gonna say this man ain't proven.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm sorry.
Hey, guess what? One second.
Well.
Was Van Dijk proven? He came from Southampton, and he was right away the best.
He's 75 million, not 150.
Million, not and that was that market inflation, my people. What are we talking about? That was years ago.
Nobody actually won though.
That much for it to be like that. No.
He didn't win shit before he went to a thing. What are you talking about?
No, not at Southampton. Not at after he joined Liverpool, he's 150, 100.
Nah, mate, you guys are confused.
If Madrid offer 100 mil for, because I think that's probably the max they'll go.
And we would still reject it.
They'll go 100. That's fine. But then, if Saliba is really wanting to go to Madrid, then he'll throw a fuss.
Because what you got to remember as well, like the transfer fee is going to be amortized for the contract length. So whatever it is, they'll pay in 3 installments.
Saliba, if he goes to Real Madrid, he's there till he's 35. They need to value the guy. If they're going to come to us, they need to come correct. They never came correct for Mbappe. So I don't expect them to come correct for William Saliba. We're not going to be used like we're going to.
No. Do you know how much Madrid offered PSG 2 years ago for Mbappe? They put up 200 plus mil. They put up 200 plus mil for Mbappe.
Okay, PSG, so if they put up 120 or 150, then we'll see.
They won't.
Bro, market inflation.
You don't get that 100 million, like 40 up front and another 60 for the next 2 years.
Market inflation. I don't know if you guys ever heard of market inflation.
Here's the thing about market inflation. People haven't clocked this. The market is resetting itself. Look how many big transfers there were this summer. There weren't that many. The market.
The only reason why you're saying that is because guys like Kylian Mbappe didn't go for a transfer fee. Instead, they went for free transfers.
No, it's not even that.
Which with the money they've received in bonuses is the equivalent to one of the highest transfer fees in history.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That I'm just saying a lot of clubs around Europe are broke, so the market is
just because the clubs are not getting the money and the players are getting the money doesn't necessarily mean it's the market.
I can't lie, he is because it's Madrid.
No one's scared.
No, that's not.
Man, it is what it is. It is.
Can I tell something honestly? Not a single one of us has any player in his squad worth 150. Honestly, on a real. You know what?
On a real, not any of you guys have a world-class player that's 23.
We do.
I would say Bukayo Saka is close out.
But Trent's not worth 100 and something. He has 1 year left on his deal.
I wouldn't be mad at saying Bukayo Saka is close to 150 million.
Cole Palmer's not worth more than 80 million. He's only done it for 1
makes more sense because he's a forward line player.
Oh, that 9-year contract, bro.
Yeah, forward line player, he pay that much for, like.
Yeah.
But a center back, like, they'll probably pay 80.
Tell me right now.
Tell me right now. If Reggie was younger.
Tell me right now.
Well, there's no City fan here, innit?
Tell me right now. 1 second. On a serious note, everyone here, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So clearly, everybody here rates Saliba very highly. If you guys are pushing this Saliba agenda,
not 150 million highly.
But now look at it this way: he's 23 years old, right? He's 23 years old, playing at the level where 30, 35-year-olds playing at. Van Dijk is how old right now? 29.
Van Dijk is 31 or 32.
31. The guy is playing on the same or similar level for the last 2 years as a 31-year-old that's already like in his prime or past his prime and has reached the highest levels that you could reach physically.
Yeah, but you haven't responded to Grigs' point, though.
And you only get better as a center back. So from my perspective, if you're going to spend a lot of money on a young 23-year-old center back that's already showing that he's of the levels of the world's best, it does make sense to spend top dollar. Because if you're going to spend top dollar, Madrid don't need to spend money on their midfield. They don't need to spend money on their attack. The only area where they need to invest in is their defense.
They do need to spend money on the midfield because they don't have a deep line playmaker. But that's not a discussion for now.
What do you mean? They have Tchouameni and Camavinga.
Neither of those guys are deep line playmakers. Neither of those guys are anywhere near the level of Toni Kroos. Second of all, it's just the way the football hierarchy is ever worked on the transfer market. Attackers are worth the most. Then it's midfielders. The defenders and midfielders are equal. That's how it's always been. The attackers are always worth the big bucks because they're the
how much did Gavardio go for?
80.
And is Saliba not double that?
No.
Double that?
160.
160.
Bro, do you know how much 160 million is?
That's what I'm saying, though. That's a lot.
I'm saying Saliba's worth a lot of money.
I think the only footballers that have ever gone for over 160 million is Kylian Mbappe and Neymar Jr. And William Saliba is no Neymar
Is
Jr.
not on their level. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
something?
Yeah.
William Saliba right now is the Neymar of Cincinnati.
And he's not on a. Oh my days.
Yeah, I'm going
my
for a
days.
zoot, guys. I'll
End the
see you in a
stream.
minute. Peace.
End the stream, guys. I'm out.
I'm off the chair.
All right, leave. I'm dead serious. You can't find a center back that's 23 years old doing what he's doing right now anywhere in the world. I don't think you can replicate that.
Bro, do you know who? I'm sorry. Do you know who Neymar is?
160
bro, do you know who
million.
Neymar is? We're talking about a top 10 footballer of all time, by the way. We're not talking about some random ass guy.
Neymar Jr. was on the Ballon d'Or list at fucking
Santos.
Santos. At Santos. People were watching Brazilian motherfucking league, bro. You cannot say Egal. I love you, bro.
And William Saliba is 23 years old. He's on the Ballon d'Or list as a center back.
Bro. Jordan Henderson and Mason Mount made top 30 list.
No, but then you can't have your cake and eat it too. You're saying one guy's on the Ballon d'Or list.
cannot
At
be-
Santos.
No. The thing was, Neymar was top 10. Neymar was top 10 Ballon d'Or at Santos. He was top
We'll
10.
see. We'll see where Saliba ends up this
He's
season.
not hitting top 10, bro. You guys
But
didn't win
we'll
anything last
see.
year. He's not hitting top 10.
The thing is, like, Grigs, by the way, you know what it is? We could have ended this section 15 minutes ago, just on Griggs' point alone. No one pays 150 for a center back. Done.
By the
That's
way,
actually-
there's only one player I'm paying over 150 million in football right now, and that's Lamine Yamal, because he's 17 and he has the
And he's a what? Forward.
And he's a forward, and he has the potential to be one of the greatest players of all time. And he's the only player I'm paying over 150 million for. That's it.
Even that's a stretch.
You know who's worth 150 million in the Premier League right now? One player, Erling Haaland. That's it.
Oh, I forgot. My bad. I forgot about Haaland. My bad. That's the second
Yeah,
one.
Haaland. That's it. There's only one.
He's still
bro.
23. He's 23 and he's a goal machine.
Okay, what
No, but
about
Griggs, you know
100
what it is? I have Trent, right? World class, best right back in the world.
100
I won't
million
even,
fair.
even if he had a contract, I won't even say like.
I'll say
150.
this, Egal. Saliba deserves to. You deserve to have the record for center back broken for William Saliba. I agree with that. He should be the most expensive center back of all time in terms of transfer. I agree with that because he's young and he's the top 2 center back in the world. But 150 mil is a bar that only 2 players have ever hit in world football, and it's Kylian Mbappe and Neymar Jr. And we
Of
have
which he's neither.
And when
By
Neymar
the
got
way-
bought,
100,
By
I
the
think
way,
he
if
can.
the
100
season
million.
goes the way I expect it to go, he'll be winning Player of the Year.
And by the
Arsenal
way,
is in the Premier League. So
Griggs,
after
in case
that,
I'm mistaken, that was Barcelona Neymar to PSG, right?
yes, and Neymar
Bro,
was
that was
injured.
like after MSN when they won like
Yes.
the treble
And
and,
at-
dominated.
And
world
at
football.
worst,
Come
and
on
at
now.
worst, Neymar was the top 3 player in the world at that time. At
One
worst, he's
second.
the top 3 player in the world.
one
Yeah,
second.
I agree with you.
Understand, number one, I haven't
Messi,
once
Ronaldo,
mentioned
Neymar.
the source
Neymar,
that
who's
actually
third,
came
yeah.
out with this rumor. The source
Yeah,
that
no, this was
actually
probably
came out.
Fugazi. This was probably Fugazi.
Minimum top
Yeah,
4 if you go
The source that came out with the news is like this Portuguese company. They're just a joke, right? But on top of that, let's be honest. We all know William Saliba is of a caliber of one of the best in his position in the world. And Real Madrid are going to go for the best in every position in the world. That's why they want Trent. That's why they want William Saliba. Best case scenario for Arsenal, they go poach Van Dijk. And we still have Saliba on a 2-year deal. And Van Dijk ends up leaving Liverpool on a free and goes to Real Madrid. That is another possibility. Also, another thing is we do have him under contract until 2027. So that's the main reason why I'm saying Arsenal, if there is any type of transfer, they're going to have to ask for top dollar. And I think William Saliba is going to return way better investment at this age for 100+ million than what they paid for Eden Hazard. For
Egal,
example.
Habibi, we agree with you. The only difference.
No, you could ask for
Yeah,
however
I'm
much
not
money.
disagreeing.
No, you could ask for however much money you want to. It's your player. It's your asset. You can
Yeah.
value him at whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you that Madrid will not pay that much. I think the
And
maximum.
that's why
They're trying
that's
to
the
fleece it,
first
too.
thing I said to you was Madrid is most likely going to wait to see if his contract runs down so they can get him on a
No,
free.
but I think if Madrid
And
offer
at
100
that
plus
point,
I did hear
if
about them
Saliba
potentially going Van
was
Dijk.
to
That
leave on a
might be
free,
funny.
if
they're not
Saliba
gonna
was
go
to
for
leave
Van
on a
Dijk. He's
free,
sold.
1 second. If Saliba was to leave on a free and we won major silverware, he's done his job. Fair enough.
No, but no. What I'm saying is from Saliba's point of view. Then, if Madrid break the record transfer for a center back, and Arsenal reject, Saliba's gonna be looking at them like, yo, and especially like they mentioned, if you haven't won anything specifically, which could be the case, well, that is to be determined. Saliba's gonna look at Madrid as you only have one chance at joining Madrid, most likely. He's gonna
Yeah.
want the move.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't know that.
You know what it is, Egal? You're right. We don't know it. The only thing you know what? Let's just
Real
end this
Madrid.
section this way. tell me, because Egal already said the number, and I'm gonna go around the panel. Just give me the number you think Madrid would bid, the max. Okay, so just give me a number. We don't need life stories because I want to move on topic as well. My number, I think max Madrid would pay is like 90 million. Sheikh, what's your number?
100 mil. I'd say 100 mil.
Grigsy
110.
and Lewis?
Say 90.
Fair enough. Okay. The only reason why I said that number is just because he's a centre back. I agree with Griggs' logic from the beginning. He consistently said Chelsea have no chance to top 4, but he says if we get Tony, we get top 4. If we were in averages, do you think one player shouldn't change that? But agendas. I said that Ivan Toney would have made us league champions. Because you know what's the most, the hardest currency in fucking football? Goals. You want to hear proof? Erling Haaland cannot control a football, cannot pass it to save his life, but give him a chance in front of goal and you're dead. That's why goals are fucking important. You know what Chelsea need? Goals. That's what they need. That's what they need. A goal scorer, a goal scoring machine. So that's why it would have made them better. And in terms of Chelsea are average, I don't think, my only logic was always, I don't think Chelsea are as good as some people make out. I think you have 3 fantastic players. The rest, there are question marks, whether it be injuries or performances, that will be answered this season eventually. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Historically, attackers and midfielders are valued higher. That has not changed. Market inflation is irrelevant here. The clubs don't spend attacker, midfielder type money on a centre back. And I agree with you. Selection, and Greg said that from the start and agreed with them directly. It's just the position.
But the return on investment on William Saliba would be better than most.
When you say return on investment, are they going to buy him for 150 and sell him for 200?
No, I mean they're going to buy him for 150 and they're going to have him for 10 plus years.
I understand what you're saying.
There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that happens, by the way.
You know what it is? If you said 150
injury,
for Saka, if you said 150
Put
for
everything in Madrid and just leave.
Egal, if you said 150 for Saka, it'd be more believable. He's a forward. It's different.
Saka's 200.
You know what it is? Let me not even. Khalas. He's gonna say now Saka's the Neymar of wingers. I'm not even gonna say.
No.
People are not aware of. I don't know what that word means. So I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna say Don Perez, beware. Yeah.
By the way, everyone who keeps telling me Odegaard's injured, understand rule of thumb for injuries. If it looks bad, it tends to be okay. If it looks like like nothing happened and he can walk and everything's fine, usually that's like a non-contact injury, and that's.
Where'd you get that rule of thumb
if
from?
it looks bad, it's bad.
I saw Paul George.
You know when Van Dijk
his legs bent the other way. It's okay. He can walk it off.
Some of the most
Van Dijk walking when he had that fucking tendon.
Van Dijk walked off the pitch with the
That's my point. Some of
the
most painful injuries where you need support to walk off the pitch are not necessarily always the longest term injuries.
That's not rule of thumb. And you just,
that's rule of thumb in my approach.
That's a rare.
Most of the time when I see somebody, like an ankle injury or something like that, they're struggling to walk.
Hella sniffles and all of that.
And when they walk off the pitch, next thing you know, they have a hamstring injury or they have a break or something fucked up. But if it's just an ankle tweak and you're struggling to walk, that's quite normal. I think it'll be fine by Saturday.
Let's hope it's just an ankle tweak in it. I don't want it to be a long-term thing, but that ain't no rule of thumb.
On a serious note, I literally, this is what I mean. Every time that I've seen somebody have a non-contact injury where it's like something just happens, no contact, they tend to walk off it. But when there's a contact injury and it's so painful, they need help to walk off. Usually they're fine in a couple days.
Virgil van Dijk was also
so basically everything's up to speculation until you get a confirmation of what he has.
Van Dijk literally was out for a whole year. He walked off the pitch. Wallahi, he walked
but that's my rule of thumb. It doesn't have to be.
Fair enough. I have a wrong rule of thumb. Big up to Toka, who says Egal, you're delusional. Egal is not delusional, but he's having a really bad day today, like history today.
Listen, I'm enjoying myself.
Egal was fantastic in the Chelsea section. As soon as I asked about Saliba, he just went down a crazy road. Man said Neymar of centre backs. Bro, fair enough. You know what it is. Khalas, it is what it is.
My rule of thumb comes from like American football.
Trust me, just let it go. Trust me, I'm your brother. Let it go, please.
You guys never heard that, Grigs? You never heard that before?
Yeah, non-contact injuries are the worst thing you can get in sport. That is a fact.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Usually those sometimes.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but you said there are some injuries where like it looks bad and it is bad. Like there's some shit
Yeah.
like that just looks terrible.
Most injuries that look bad, they're not that bad, unless you
Okay.
broke your leg.
Okay. So Grigsian Sheikh, you get me? We have to talk about your bald fraud. Before we do that, big up every single super chatter. Big up to Blazu, Toka, Selection, Benz. Big up to Yak. Big up to UG and Denzel. Big up every single super chatter. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys are slapping the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Ten Hag. Lots of rumors, Habibis. Lots of people who want him to get sacked. There's a lot of conversations regarding replacement and shit like this happening. What Ten Hag is saying in his press conferences. Do you think it's time running out for him? And I'll let Sheikh start this one, and then we'll hear Griggs' opinion on it as well. What do you think of this current Ten Hag situation, and do you expect him to make it to the end of the year?
Yeah, it's a tough one because you don't know how Ineos are going to be, how they've been behaving. This is just like their first year and stuff like that. And in terms of signings in the window too, just before we get into Ten Hag, this was never going to be like a 1 year, 1 summer process. This is going to be something that's going to take some time. So we won't really know Ineos's true colors to say. So who knows, even at the end of this year, maybe into next year. But the thing is, for Ten Hag, the reality is this: you're in your 3rd season. You have no clue, no style, no identity, nothing in your 3rd year. You've spent up to 600 million. It's been a lot of money spent. You've been, this whole thing that he's not been backed or structure and stuff like that. Yeah, you don't have prominent people in positions, but financially he has been backed. He spent 90 million on Anthony. He spent a lot of money on certain players, right? So the idea is this. Obviously, who knows what this whole Rude appointment with him being an assistant manager, maybe they're leaning towards the direction of appointing him as an interim until the end of the season if he does get sacked midway, because we heard the reason why they kept him in the first place was because of the payout. They didn't want to pay him how this and that. I don't know how much exactly it was, but I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going to go through. I personally think they will sack him if things do get tough, and I think things are starting to already get tough. The Liverpool loss, not only just the scoreline, but also just the performance itself. Even the game against Brighton, and even the performance against Fulham. I'm not a confident United fan going into any game this upcoming season, and that just speaks a lot of where our club is at the moment. So. The fact that they didn't want to pay him out, whether they, if things get tough, they sack him, then they have Rude to go until the end of the summer, and then maybe in the summer they go hunting for a new manager, stuff like that. Who knows? But the Ten Hag thing needs to end. We've only won 6 to 7 games out of our last 17 games or something like that. We have a -3 goal difference. The proof is in the pudding, man. It's right in front of us. This guy needs to go. The guy needs to go. He needs to get sacked.
You have a negative goal difference. That's so beautiful, man.
Yeah, we have a negative goal difference.
Tell the whole world who caused that.
Liverpool, from our last game, mathematically, they caused us to have a -3 goal difference. But the real thing is we had a negative goal difference going into this season, and Ten Hag is the cause of that, and he's a big cause of that. And we can't go into our 3rd season not having any idea how we're going to play and who's going to perform and who's going to score our goals, man. We have players like Rashford who hasn't had a single shot at all this season. And the funniest thing is that Ten Hag in his first season coached majority of these players and was able to finish top 4. So you sit there and wonder, how did it go from that to this and last season? It's such a major drop off. And I feel like the fact that he hasn't been able to figure it out, he's making the same mistakes again and again frequently, is that he's just not well equipped for this job. Maybe he can go to a different club and perform well, but this Manchester United job is just not for him. And I think it's time that Ineos, if Ineos are who we claim them to be, pull that trigger when the time needs to come and get rid of this manager, man. That's what I would say.
Can I ask you and Griggs a quick question before Griggs tell me his thoughts on Ten Hag as well?
Yes.
Is this the most disrespectful picture in the Premier League so far this season?
No. Honestly, I don't really care about it, to be honest.
Griggs, I see your face in the background. Cannot deny it, you're Greek. You're like me, bro. We are I've shared this similar DNA. You're Greek. I can tell how disgusted you are. Tell what do you think, Griggs, of the
They
Ten
only
Hag?
just got the new tunnel designed as well.
No, but you know what?
I don't really
He
care
did
about
on
it.
purpose. He fully went next to the Man United crest and took a selfie.
Of course he did
This
this
cannot
on
be
purpose.
accident.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's like, oh, this was new.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like,
rivalry
oh,
and all
yeah,
that.
I
Of course
own this
he,
club.
of course he did
Go
this on
Trafford,
purpose.
spam
But
it in the chat.
Hassan,
Next game, you lot might have your get back.
we've
Like,
had
gone
stuff
out-
like
Why do
this.
you have a photo of him in the hotel outside of
That I don't know. That I don't know. Whoever,
Yeah.
whenever I go
Yeah,
to an
that is
entrance
such a-
myself, I
that's
will
crazy.
try to remove that picture myself. But that I don't know. But that's crazy. But we've had like Steven Gerrard, Hassan, you probably remember this. Every time he scored at Old Trafford, he'd go and he'd kiss the camera. That was like his thing. Like Steven Gerrard would do that every single time he scored at Old Trafford. So this is nothing to me, man. It's whatever. We move.
Wait, he only did that at Old Trafford or in general? I just thought he just
Every
did it.
time he'd score at Old Trafford, he would kiss the camera. Steven Gerrard. Every single time. From what I
VAR
remember.
has ruined the sport. Could have been us, Trent. Anyway, go ahead, Grigsy.
It's not much to say, really. Ten Hag
Don't say shit
sucks.
to us. Control yourself. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Well, Ten Hag just sucks. It's as simple as that. There's not really much of a debate to have about him. There's no way you could positively spin it in a positive way to defend Ten Hag. He's not a good coach. It's as simple as that. I watched the game obviously back on Sunday after the Liverpool game after I got back from work. And to be honest, for the first 35 minutes, I didn't think United were dog shit. I thought they're actually somewhat decent. But eventually, class was supreme in terms of Liverpool, and they were the better team. That's fine. I think in terms of Ineos, I understand what they tried to do in terms of keeping him. That they wanted to, like, Ratcliffe always talks about giving managers every possible resource to make sure they have the best chance of succeeding. But there's just some coaches that don't deserve that. And Erik ten Hag is one of them because he's simply just not a good football coach. And we have to, as a society, as a footballing fans, we have to question UEFA's integrity on how they give out coaching badges. It's as simple as that. We have to ask how he got his coaching badges because I've never seen a man ignore his midfield like Erik ten Hag has. As a Dutchman, Johan Cruyff is looking down and just rolling in his grave, looking at the way Erik ten Hag is playing football. That's a simple. He's just not a good coach. Marcus Rashford, Shikh mentioned, has 0 shots. He used to be a shoot first guy. Now he wants to play like Jack Grealish at Man City. I'm disgusted by that. I really am. Because our attack is not the best of attacks. I'm not going to say it's the best of attacks, but there's some decent names. Garnacho has his moments. Amad Diallo, who's actually had the second most touches in the opposition box in that game, despite only playing 20 minutes, which is funny enough, but it is what it is. But yeah, Erik ten Hag, I do think his time is coming. I don't think he's going to survive the season. The fact that he's fighting journalists and bringing up XG as excuses in press conferences, that's a man whose head is lost. And once your head is gone at the Premier League level, especially when you're managing a top 6 club, especially one of Man United's stature, when the media pressure will always be on you no matter what, you're going to have guys ask you questions constantly. If you're losing your head match week 3, what happens in match week 10? What happens in match week 15, right? When games are getting tougher. And that's what's going to end up happening. I think his job will eventually be lost. I don't think it'll be like in the next month. I think around December schedule, when the schedule gets a lot more jam-packed, maybe the third international break. If we're out of, let's say we're 8th place, right? And
take that long to sack him.
Yeah, I think they got because they made a commitment when they decided to keep him at the end of the day, and they also the fact that they kept him meant that they look at the
poor guys.
They look at this. They also looked at the whole managerial market in Europe.
Glazing each other, both of you, Lewis as well,
bro.
No, because I've been through this suffering last season. This could have been me if they decided to keep the prick. I feel.
Are you gonna look straight?
Get your independence.
Are you gonna say Ten Hag is better than Poch? You're a liar if you say that. You're a genuine liar if you say that. You know you cannot say
He dunked on Poch twice. I'm not falling for 2 goals in the 99th minute. So
Klopp is better than Pep then, because Klopp always beat Pep. There you are. Say it.
Yeah, Champions League. Champions League. Semi-final.
So yeah, and anyway, but yeah, I just think for me, I think the fact that they looked at the whole manager market in Europe this past summer, they interviewed about like 15 guys anyway. They weren't able to come to an agreement with one of them. I think Thomas Tuchel and De Zerbi were the ones that got the farthest stage. De Zerbi, obviously, I have an inkling on what happened based on the Brighton owners' comments as well. As for Tuchel, I don't know what ended up happening, why it kind of got lost. Maybe it was wage issues. Maybe it was Tuchel wanting a little bit more power in transfers, that kind of stuff. No one knows. And I think they're going to circle back for Tuchel if they do sack Ten Hag. I think Shikh mentioned Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think from the moment they brought in Ruud van Nistelrooy,
that's a stupid decision though, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it is. If you go for Thomas Tuchel,
I'll see what happens with Tuchel. Like the thing is with Tuchel, the hopium I have for Tuchel is that Ineos would be probably the most stable ownership group that he's played under, that he's coached under, because PSG's a mess. Chelsea was a mess. Bayern's a mess. We all know what's going on at Bayern right now. So
yeah, but you've worked with Zir before. He's told you his honest thoughts on Tuchel, regardless of the board. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying Tuchel's a perfect manager. He wouldn't be my first choice. I would try to go get Nagelsmann if we could, but he also wants to coach.
Yes, now you're talking. Now you're talking.
I also have to be realistic. Maybe if Tuchel has a stopgap until maybe a Nagelsmann becomes available, I'm not 100% mad at that. While Ineos also revamped their squad, keep getting more players in and stuff like that. I'm not 100%.
You already know who the stopgap
I'm gonna be so real. Tuchel cooks with you lot, and I don't want to see it.
I don't know what would happen with Tuchel, but also got to think about it. One alternative could be Tuchel.
I'm saying that this is the stopgap right here in the comment. Van Nistelrooy is going to be the stopgap.
Yeah, I think that's why they brought in Van Nistelrooy. But I also think from Van Nistelrooy's point of view, I don't think he really wants to be a head coach right now. I think that's why he accepted the assistant job at United. Maybe he just wants to be a little bit more in the background and not really be front and center. Because also don't forget, if he becomes the manager of Man United, he's no longer the assistant. The questions that go to Ten Hag will now go to him. Can he handle that kind of pressure? I think he would because he's been at the club before and stuff like that. And he knows
that's
the pressure.
Van Nistelrooy. Come on, of course he handles it. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Also, we'll see. But I think the fact that Ruud got hired in, meant that he's their fail-safe plan. If everything crumbles, go get Ruud. The fan base will be behind him because he's Ruud Van Nistelrooy at the end of the day, right? Everyone sings Ruud at Old Trafford. So we'll see what happens and then go next summer. I always said Kieran McKenna. United fans laughed at me. Yo, which club? Yo, Hussein, who performed better against Liverpool? United or Ipswich?
I can't lie to you. This is what I think is going to happen as well. Tabang, no banter. I genuinely believe this. But who performed better? Ipswich.
That's what I'm saying. Who had worse players on the pitch? Ipswich. Who had the worst squad? That's what I'm saying. That's why I said, obviously, United fans are going to be against McKenna because he's from the championship and stuff like that. He'll probably get relegated.
What would you do if you get Southgate on a reel? Fuck the banter.
Oh my god. Yeah, same. I don't think I would watch. Yeah.
We'll be real.
That's
a
low.
To the sources.
See what I did with the New York Giants in the NFL. I cut ties with them. I saw the quarterback play yesterday. I cut ties with them. I will do the same.
No, I'm a Giants fan too. That's crazy, bro. That's
I'm just saying, banter aside, they did interview him, so we're not making shit up.
The fact that Southgate will be a possibility. I don't think as a collective group, all the decision makers will want Gareth Southgate. I think there'll be too much push to come to shove, and they'll want a better coach. That's my hope, at least, but we'll see. I
love the fact that you say hope because you're admitting it.
I can't ignore the fact that he's not a possibility.
Yeah,
he's a possibility. I can't ignore that fact. Right now, the fact that I know is in the board, like Dave Brailsford, who really wants Gareth Southgate. We'll see what happens, but I do think the fact that Omar Barada, I think, would go for someone else than Gareth Southgate. I think Dan Ashworth will be a little bit mixed. And who else is there? Jason Wilcox, I think, would want to be someone else. We'll see. We're actually similar to Chelsea. We have a lot of guys that are kind of in and around making decisions.
Oh, mad brother.
It's just our guys are probably more in tune with each other's decisions as opposed to theirs, while theirs are beefing and stuff like that. So we'll see. But I think for Ten Hag, I don't think he's here when the season ends in May. I do not think he will be here. I think he'll crumble.
Egal, Lewis, what do you make of this Ten Hag situation?
Peak for them. They need to just get rid of him. The sooner the better, personally. I hope they don't get Tuchel. I actually think Tuchel might get a tune out of them, or at least make them a bit defensively solid and then just run with it. Also, as a cup manager, same thing with Ten Hag, so that'll just be another problem. But as it stands, if you think that he's going to last until December, then you ain't got to worry about United till then. As long as Ten Hag's going to be there, there'll be moments. There'll be good moments. They got decent attackers within there. They've got enough in set
pieces. There's one period I'm worried about, right? It's before the third. It's before the second international break. United have Spurs at home, Porto away, and Villa away. At the end of September into October, before the second international break. If United lose all three of them and haven't really been as gelling in attack the year, because the thing is, Jamie Jackson already came out. Some guy from the Guardian. The fact that United have already had a vote of confidence for the manager 3 games in means that issues are already arising. Yeah. And United aren't even mad about the results right now. They're more.
That's why I'm surprised you said December. I thought it was going to last another month at most.
I think he's such a
Loki. I need you to beat Southampton at this rate. He can't get sacked already.
Nah, he's not
even Southampton. I'm thinking they might just 1-0 it, but
I just think the fact he'll be able to sneak out some wins where he'll be last December. But I do think eventually they'll just get. Look at the performances, and I think players too. I think you look at a Marcus Rashford, bro. Whether you rate Marcus Rashford or not, him having 0 shots, knowing we all know the ball striking that Marcus Rashford possesses, is absolutely ridiculous to think about. 0 shots.
But even then, I think part of that comes down to himself. I remember the Fulham game. He just weren't shooting. He was getting in so many goal-scoring positions and passing.
Yeah, but when you look at the whole squad, because we also, I don't know if you watch international break, but a lot of the United players cook their international break. They're gonna come back to Carrington on Thursday, and by Saturday they're all gonna look shit again. Who does that come down to? Obviously, the coach,
the system, the coach. Yeah.
That's why I don't think he lasts longer than a month.
I think Man United shithoused their way into him lasting until January.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
They were not meant to win that FA Cup.
Man United are literally on a week-to-week basis. If they're looking to replace him, they would have already sacked him. So the fact that he's still there, if they're looking to replace him after the Liverpool game, you would have sacked him after the Liverpool game. You wouldn't have waited until the international break ends, go back into the new season, go back into the 4th game of the season. You would have already got rid of him during the international break.
If they sack him into the season after keeping him, despite all that happened in the summer, they're gonna look like mugs.
Yeah. So I think it's not only just the results that obviously look bad, but it's also the matter of how we're losing these games, and the performances is why Ineos is probably starting to question like Ten Hag this early. And I feel like
if you lost to Liverpool, and it was like, oh, we played a good game, but Liverpool just better than us today. That's calm. That it is what it is. Liverpool the better team. That's calm. But that second half, we got embarrassed.
Yeah.
By the way, just so you guys know, Martin Odegaard suffered a severe lateral sprain on left ankle against Austria this evening. This period of absence will not be less than 4 weeks. X-rays are needed to rule out a complete tear in the ligaments dislocation.
Who reported it?
Shit.
The injury guy.
Yeah, that guy is waffling. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Wait, is that actually a real thing?
One second.
No, I'm not gonna lie, bro. When you look at the injury, his foot is bending backwards.
Guys, please. It's impossible to. This is scaremongering. This is fear-mongering. This is just absolute BS. It's impossible to determine the scale of an injury without a scan or anything like that. Literally, just watching a video and trying to determine what type of injury is guesswork.
Maybe, or maybe it's true. We'll find out.
Listen, it is what it is. We wish
it's crazy.
Recovery.
Yeah, I hope it's not anything serious. Let's hope it's just like a sprain. He's out for a day or two. But if whoever said that's got anything behind them, then yeah, Pete, that's rough.
Egal, when it
talks only 4 weeks potentially.
Excuse is what Blazou says. Listen, we wish him a speedy recovery. None of us here are assholes or anything, but at the end of the day, listen, none of us agreed with Egal's rule of thumb. You get me? So let's not go back.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at it, by the way, his foot is facing backwards.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at that and think, he might be okay. Like, no, that
bro,
I watched it 3 times, and every time I've winced a little bit. Like, yeah, fuck that.
No, I don't think you can tell the extent of an injury by just watching a video. That's mad.
No, but like you can tell if it looks bad or not.
I mean, you could.
For some people,
you'll see a natural reaction to it. You'll look at it and think, "Oh, fucking hell."
If you see someone grabbing like their pec, you automatically know they're out for at least like 4 months. Like, there's certain injuries you just know.
We'll see.
And if someone's foot is looking backwards,
speedy recovery still, but yeah, that did not look good.
So that would be what? Theoretically, that would be Spurs, Atalanta, and City. Minimum. All the way. That's peak.
Yo, they got the City game too. Oh, fucking hell, bro. But they're going to defend in that game anyway, so they'll nil that.
Long day for Arsenal still.
We ain't even going to pretend that's going to be a good game of football. That's going to be fucking dreadful.
Oh, that's never going to be a good game of football. Good game of football. You want to watch good football? Watch Liverpool. Watch Man United because they do bring entertainment. Watch Spurs, they bring entertainment.
We bring you goals. Just on which end?
Stop it. Arsenal don't bring entertainment.
Am I wrong?
City don't.
No,
we were meant to be the great entertainers last season because we had fuck all control.
Yeah, and that's why Chelsea were entertaining to watch.
So games have still been a little bit end to end. A little bit.
I'm going to Liverpool versus City and Liverpool versus Lille. I saved up for this. I'm hyped. First time going to Anfield. Big up y'all. Can we get down in the chat for my guy Wouter? Big up to you,
Watching
man.
Angel Gomez live, that's a privilege. I hear it, bro.
Congratulations.
Big up, man.
Grigs, let the guy enjoy his fucking time at Anfield. You fraud.
I did. I say he gets to watch Angel Gomez live. That's a privilege. I can say that.
You made that. So instead of Salah, Trent, Van Dijk, and Alisson, you think he give a fuck about Angel Gomez? There you are.
Yeah, of course. New England International. Oh, that's a pleasure, bro.
That's why he wins football bingo. I didn't even realize Angel Gomez played for Lille. Fair enough.
How would I not know that? He's my academy. He was my product.
Yeah, but he left like 3 years ago. You should have let it go.
No, I'm not gonna let it go because he should have played over.
What the hell happened to that guy like 3 years ago who had an afro, was playing on the wing? That was supposed to be the next big thing.
I say he's Chong.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he went to Luton, didn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
Angel Gomez is actually nice though.
He's at Luton.
We're balling out at Lille. We're balling out at Champions League clubs.
Anyway, final topic of the day. Speaking of ballers on the wing and all that type of stuff, you get me. I don't want to keep the guys for too long, but this has been a conversation, so I just want to get you guys' opinions on it. And let's get everyone to hit the like button as well. Let's get everyone to subscribe. You get me. Speaking of ballers, let me put a real baller up on the screen. Guys, I'm sure you have heard all around the YouTube, all around the conversations regarding Mo and GOAT status and Thierry Henry and goals and all that type of stuff. I want to ask you guys a genuine question. 8 years in now of Mo Salah doing this, what are you guys' genuine thoughts on him as a footballer, as a player, legacy-wise, in terms of the future? What do you guys think? Whoever want to start with this can start. Egal, you can start.
One of the best wingers the league's seen.
Yeah. Elite.
Like,
sure.
It's understated now. He's got the longevity, he's got the goals, he's even got a league title. I don't think anybody can talk down his legacy anymore. Like, all he's had to do is just keep at the same level, and he's done that. So, yeah, big up to Salah. Proper Chelsea.
You really said proper Chelsea.
I think made in Chelsea, man. Come on.
I think there's been a PR mistake from a lot of people, because Mo Salah should have had a lot more plaudits. The guy won PFA Player of the Year, won Player of the Season, won numerous Golden Boots, and has been one of the best players in the Premier League, no debate, since he's come back to Liverpool. And has been he finished third in the Ballon d'Or list, finished second in the Ballon d'Or list. Was he, when you guys won the Champions League, was Van Dijk voted the best player in the Champions League that year, or was he voted the best player in the Champions League that year? I think remember.
It was Van Dijk.
Yeah, at this point, I've said it a couple of years ago, and I'll say it again right now. He is no. I think arguably he's in the 11 Premier League's best 11, no debate. At this point, you can argue if you want to say some players here or there, but I would say the front three would be Ronaldo, Salah, and what do you call it, Henry, whichever way you want to put them.
I agree with that.
And then you could, and people want to have arguments about other players, but what Mo Salah has done since he's been at Liverpool, goals, assists, just involvement overall, consistency, the level of consistency, we've not seen that since some of the greats. And I kind of feel like we've taken him for granted. I feel like we kind of take it for granted in the sense that he's just been there. He's just been a staple. He just does it. Erling Haaland came, broke more records than him, scored more goals than him, and people kind of forgot about Mo Salah. But Mo Salah just...
Yeah, but Erling Haaland is a striker. He's supposed to score that many goals for Man City.
And another thing, Liverpool, you guys don't come anywhere near the level of silverware that you guys have if it wasn't for Mo Salah. Mo Salah arguably could have had a case to win a Ballon d'Or at this point, if it wasn't for Messi always scooping it up or somebody else taking it from him. And also the year that Van Dijk was a top candidate, you could have had a case for him too if he didn't fall off in the back end of that season, where he was on fire to start that season. But yeah, overall, Mo Salah, he will be missed when he's gone. He does have an opportunity to break Henry's records. If he does do that, I still don't think, based on the fact that Henry and football at that time put the Premier League on the map, is difficult to deal with, to compare to the nostalgia of Henry and what he's done in the time where he literally made the Premier League a global game, bringing in the French people, bringing in all sorts of other people, where now it's already a global entity.
I'll attribute that more towards Wenger than Henry, to be honest with you.
Whatever you want to say. Either way, he was the main face of the Premier League when the Premier League was at its biggest expansion. So it is difficult to compare.
You say Henry face of the Premier League now?
But if he does get more goals than Henry, you will have a case that he's no debate. He's one of the best to ever play in the Premier League. And I don't think he gets treated like that. I think he still
This
gets
is why
spoken
I
about.
hate Fenway Sports Group. Because if we actually had an ownership that wanted to win, we'd be like on 3 titles, 2 Champions Leagues right now, on a reel. And this is the problem. Like, no one here will say it's Mo Salah's fault why we didn't win the league titles or didn't win. Like, it's definitely not his fault. Like, and this is the thing that I hate. Like, they just fucked it up for us. But I feel like people keep doubting the guy. But year 8 now, after the first 3 games, this is the first time in my experience doing content or spaces or whatever that there has been a shift. Everyone's shifted a lot more towards the respect side than anything else I've ever seen before. Like, I've never seen people talk about Mo Salah this way specifically as they have done this season, because
it looks like it's going to be his last season, I think.
Yes, and on top of that, I
the
think
same thing with Hazard. Suddenly, everyone loved him when he was leaving. It's the same thing. It's because now the rivalry's starting to go. So you can respect.
Yeah, but there's another reason as well in my mind. I'm like, you know what it is? Maybe it's like people are anticipating the season. Okay, maybe this is the year that he falls off and shit. And then the 3 games start and he has 3 goals, 3 assists in 3 games, and everyone's like, this guy is just not normal. You know?
No, but they've said that so many times about Salah. Oh, is he a 1-season wonder? Oh, is he able to do this in this period or whatever? And then he just keeps doing it from the. Didn't he have like a record of opening day goals?
Yes.
Cash money
He scored against Ipswich as well.
Yeah, I think funnily enough, last season was the only one he didn't. Because I remember he got subbed off and he was fuming. He started ripping off his fucking things. I forgot what the name's called for it.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was pissed. And that's probably why.
He got an assist for Diaz though. FSG fucked his legacy.
You know
one thing I will say?
We've been there before. Generational winger, and they're just giving fuck all around him. Yeah, been there.
You know one thing I hate though? I don't think legacy is purely just adding up trophies. I really don't.
It's not because you're right about that. Because if it was about that, then Henry wouldn't be the goal to the Premier League because he doesn't have.
Because he got like what 2 prems or 3?
It'd be Ryan Giggs.
It'd be Ryan Giggs, obviously. Paul Scholes, all those kind of guys. Because we have all our players have the most trophies in Premier League history. In terms of legacy, you get
he has 2 Premier Leagues. 2.
Yeah,
because he wasn't there in the first one. Remember?
It's super.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously, Mo Salah is probably the best African player in Premier League history. I think he definitely has that title now. That's for sure. Which adds to his legacy because he's the best player from a continent to ever play in the Premier League. That's massive for legacy and stuff like that. I did see the debate what he could do to pass Henry in Premier League history. I don't think there's anything he could do to surpass Henry because, like Egal mentioned, Henry is more than just trophies. It's just the culture and stuff like that, what he brought and stuff like that. You could make the argument with the CR7. Mohamed Salah is a better Premier League player than Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of he's had more consistency in the Premier League because Salah has spent his entire prime here. It's just the thing with Ronaldo is
you really believe I actually put Ronaldo number 1 in wingers?
Because it's okay in terms of Salah
as well. Like that's
I say this.
Longevity. He only had 3 years at the top level.
Ronaldo hit probably the highest peak of any Premier League player ever. In terms of that 1 year that he had in 07-08 is the greatest season you could have. But in terms of longevity, Salah has been amazing in the Premier League every single year he's played. It's been, I think, 7 years now? 8 seasons, about to be 8 seasons this year. That's a long time. It's the same with Eden Hazard against Ronaldo. Hazard spent his whole prime in the Premier League. We can say because if you want to use Ronaldo, it's similar to Suarez. The difference is Ronaldo obviously won the trophies because he was in a much better team. But Suarez, you could argue, probably had the best striker season of anyone in Premier League history. But he's not even the top 5 Premier League strikers of all time. You have your Rooneys, you have your Henrys, you have your Drogbas, you have your Shearers, you have your Harry Kanes and stuff like that. The thing is, Ronaldo would have been great in the Premier League, and I do have him as my starting left winger. I have him as my goal winger because at the end of the day, he's one of my goals, so it's fine. But I don't think Salah eventually hits the top 3. I think the top 3 for me will forever be Henry, Rooney. I always have Rooney as the second greatest Premier League player ever, and then I have Cristiano Ronaldo 3. I don't think Salah touches Rooney either, in my opinion. I think Salah's a great player, but how good Rooney was from when he was 18.
Top 3 wingers?
Top 3 wingers. CR7. I have Salah over Hazard by now. I think Salah's been just a little bit more consistent. And it's not just Premier League. I know it's a Premier League debate, but what Salah's done in Europe compared to Eden Hazard was not that great in the Champions League. At the end of the day, that will forever be an asterisk against them.
I put so much of it down to the shit forwards we put him around, but I can't be.
Yeah, that's fine. And I think
I don't argue anyone down who believes Salah over Hazard. I just disagree. But it's a fair argument.
Yeah, I think it used to be like that. Salah can't even tie Hazard's boots. So because
all he needed was the longevity. Now he's got that. So I don't argue people down now. It's just, I disagree.
I think in terms of FSG failing him, I don't 100% agree with that because Salah has always been part of a good attack at Liverpool for about 95% of his career. Let's not act like he came into a shit attack. He came in.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying in terms of winning more Premier Leagues.
Yeah, but you can say that. You can say that about the whole team though, because like for example, Van Dijk.
Yes, of course they failed. So you're telling me Van Dijk, Alisson, Trent, and Mo
the thing
only
is,
on one league title, one Champions League is not the ownership failing them. Of course.
The thing is though, Van Dijk's still considered a top 2 center back of all time in Premier League history, regardless of that.
No. By many he isn't. Many people say Rio and Terry.
I'm not gonna lie. If you ask a lot of people right now, where would they have Van Dijk? There's a lot of them that have him top 2, including me. By the way, I have Van Dijk in my top 2. I think the peak that he hit is better than anyone else's peak, really, other than maybe a Rio or a John Terry.
No, but when you're discussing peaks, this is different. I think the problem is with these conversations is as soon as you open up, like if I were to say right now, I make a blanket statement, yo guys, Van Dijk is the best center back in Premier League history. He doesn't have as many trophies as Rio or Terry or blah blah blah. That's the thing.
Yeah, like, but you know how I do my ranking? When I do my list or when I do my rankings, if the longevity is similar, I go based on who had the highest peak. So, for example, Van Dijk is now what? It's 8 years, bro. Once you hit past 5 years of consistent world-class levels, best in the world levels, bro, your longevity's there. If you hit 5+, your longevity's there. I don't need you to play 20 years like Ryan Giggs. That's fine.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they only failed Salah. I'm saying they failed all 4 of them.
Yeah, obviously, their legacy could have been a lot better.
More, 100%.
But I think with Salah, though, is I don't think there's anything Liverpool could have won for him to be in the top 2 of attackers in Premier League history. I really don't. I think there's certain players that like Henry, for example. Henry's untouchable. He's literally just untouchable.
But no one's untouchable. Untouchable is
in terms of like the GOAT Premier League player, I think it would take a lot to surpass Thierry Henry.
Okay, so if Liverpool win the next 3 Premier Leagues and 3 Champions Leagues and Mo Salah win 3 Ballon d'Or in a row, he's still below Henry.
That's not happening though. That's like there's 0% chance that happens.
No,
but I'm talking about in realistic terms of what can happen. There's nothing.
Yeah, but even if he does that, he still doesn't touch Messi as an example. But he
obviously no one touches Messi. But even if you want to, like, let's say you want an extra Premier League, right? Let's say you won 2 Premier Leagues, and you want an extra
than 1 UCL in the Premier League.
Let's say you want an extra Champions League, right? So he'd be on 2 and 2. He still wouldn't be better than Henry, in my opinion. He still wouldn't touch Rooney, in my opinion, because of what those guys meant to the league and when they came into it and how the domination and stuff like that.
I know it's difficult to process right now because we're living it, but I think Mo Salah means a lot to the league right now as well.
Yeah, he does, but I think the league is
the last 8 years.
No, but you know what I'm trying to say though is the league was already certified at that point. The league has been cemented. When you look at Henry, Egal was right. Serie A was the top dog back then. La Liga and stuff like that. Henry was the face, and he was the one that started that kind of.
Henry is partially the GOAT because the marketing of the Premier League, he was the face that marketed the Premier League globally to everybody.
No,
I think wanted to be my Premier League GOAT as well. I don't disagree with that.
Everyone wanted to be Thierry. Obviously, I was a little young for that, but you guys are a little bit older than me. Am I not right? Everyone wanted to be Henry back then. The gloves, everything, the finesse, bro. Everyone wanted to be TT. It's how it goes.
The issue is
I
just feel like Mo Salah, even though he's one of the main guys for Adidas, one of the main guys for Pepsi, he just never really was what do you call it? The marketed as well as the other guys. Like, let's be honest, Mo Salah was never marketed.
I agree with that completely. He's the best marketed Liverpool player.
Do you think he's been marketed like the guys back in the day?
Yeah. No, so look, the guys back in the day, man, there was no social media.
Well, depends who you're talking about. Like, he's not like obviously. Salah,
you know what? Back in the day happened. Back in the day, it wasn't every single one of them got an ad by themselves. Back in the day, there was a Gladiator ad with Beckham, Figo, Roberto Carlos, Zidane, all these guys in the same ad.
The Nike ad Oh, those were amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sure.
saying. But they
Yeah.
don't do that shit anymore, brother.
Yeah, you're right. The last ad I seen that Mo Salah did was with Messi, where he was juggling a football on a Pepsi can.
Yeah.
So he has been marketable, but maybe it's the nostalgia, but I just don't think Henry's going to be surpassed. And when
No, I
he
don't
is
think it's
surpassed,
nostalgia. I think
and when he is surpassed, you're going to know. The fact that it's a debate right now, or you're even trying to make this debate, I just don't think he's anywhere near there yet. He can get better numbers. He can get better numbers. He can maybe even win more league titles, but he won't have the nostalgia.
None of those things. You know what Salah need to do? Some way, somehow, gonna be difficult, I know. Some way, somehow win a Ballon d'Or. If that happens, then a can of worms will be open. But
in order to win the Ballon d'Or, he needs to win another Champions League or league title.
Yeah, that's the problem. So
You
unless
he
we
could
do
do
like
that.
a master class in the UCL,
What he could do is he could leave Liverpool, come to Arsenal, and do it.
He's already
How does
won
that
a
happen?
UCL.
Well, I'm sorry.
On a
Thierry
free
Henry
transfer.
himself did not win your UCL. That's a shame.
Hold on.
Wait, so we mentioned Saka then?
Hold on.
We
No,
mentioned
they
Saka
won the
then.
same team.
Hold up. Liverpool have a Ballon d'Or winner. Based on when he played the season there, Michael Owen. Who is your Ballon d'Or winner? Because Henry could have won Ballon d'Or when he was the best striker in the world.
got
Yeah,
robbed.
Pablo never.
He got robbed.
Okay, yeah, Pablo never taking this chain back then. Why do you think Salah? You think Salah at Arsenal with the Arsenal PR
Nedved
can get
himself
over
knows he robbed him.
That's gone. But if Arsenal at their peak couldn't get a Ballon d'Or winner, what makes you think you could get one now? When the Madrid PR is at a different level than it was 20 years ago.
They need
no
better
shot.
than Saka. It is what it is.
They can play together.
So what are we doing? You
I
put
mean,
Saka at
Lewis,
left
I don't
back?
know why you said that like it's edgy. Most Arsenal
No,
fans
why
will
you-
say
Mo
that yes,
Salah can
Salah
play
is
up
better
top,
than
bro.
Saka.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying so Saka
Mo
isn't
Salah's
enough
better
for them
than
to win the
90%
league.
of
They
the
need
strikers
something
in the
better.
world, bro.
Saka is the second best right winger in the league, not number one.
I said
No,
Mo
it's
Salah's
not.
the
I'm
best-
not arguing Salah v Saka. I'm saying so he needs better than Saka to win the league. So
Bro.
he wants Salah.
If Mo Salah, everyone in their fucking straight mind would take Mo Salah in a heartbeat to improve.
The
their
most
team.
starts for
No,
Madrid,
so
by the way.
I'm just
That's
saying
not
you're not believing in
Obviously.
Salah and Saka to take you to the title. Okay.
because there's
Saka-
some people who
Saka-
say, "Oh, he's not better
I'm
than
so
Rodrigo."
sorry, Lewis. I don't know how you're trying to spin this, but every single person, if they're
Then you need
offered Mo
another
Salah,
right
they
winger.
would take him.
And he would bench Saka, no?
They play in the same team, bro.
I agree with this. This is the
In
truth.
what positions was Saka going to be in? What positions
He's
he
gonna play on the
Madrid,
right. Mo
he
Salah's gonna play up top.
He starts Bayern.
Oh, you're gonna have okay, cool. You're benching Havertz. Smart. Fair enough.
What are we doing here?
No more.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Havertz? I hear.
No,
Do any of you guys watch anime? Because I think this is all anime.
Nope.
DBZ, punch out.
I know that's Dragon Ball Z, obviously. But yeah.
Grigs, you stop being a
Yeah,
Deku from
I agree,
MHA.
fuck that.
Lewis, you are Yamcha from Dragon Ball Z. Poch
How's
out.
it Deku? Why am I
And you
thinking I'm
got
getting this right now?
Man, you got.
Hunter x Hunter.
I don't know what the fuck this is about, UG. I'll be so
What's
honest.
what's a Deku, bro? I feel like I'm getting this right now like crazy.
I don't know if this is an insult or a good
Deku.
thing. I'll be so honest.
I
with
haven't
you.
watched Hunter x Hunter.
I haven't
No,
watched any of
yo, hold up.
Yeah.
Deku is a protagonist. Okay, that's good. So at least I'm the main hero. That's calm.
Yo, who's this kid with the blonde hair?
I have no idea. But anyway, listen, on that note, we're going to wrap up the stream right here. Big up to the guys. It's been one hell of an A-lister stream. We'll be getting back, inshallah, next Monday. And reminder to everyone in the chat, once again, our new time slot is now 8 every Monday. Unless there is a Monday night football game, we will be talking about it, inshallah. We'll discuss it in the background. But 8 every Monday is the new thing. If there's a Monday night game and it's dead, no one trying to watch Palace versus Newcastle or whatever. Like, it depends who's playing and shit. We'll make exceptions and differences and shit like this, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, Grigs Talk is in the description. Shikh TV is in the description. Egal Talks Football in the description. United Spurs of America is in the description. Carefree Lewis G is in the description as well. And don't go anywhere, because this stream is going to take you to Egal Talks Football, where he's about to go live for a call-in show as well. So you can call in to Egal's stream. Tell him what you
Emergency meeting.
Yes, tell him what you think of his thought on Salah
Emergency
being-
meetings is
Odegaard.
taken. We just have a problem we need to talk about.
Yalla. Anyway, love you all. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Big up all the super chatters. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, inshallah.
Cheers.
Turn out.